Welcome to Boulder, Colorado, where Steven Montez gets stopped right at the marker on the opening drive for the Colorado Buffaloes. Eric Lee flies up from the secondary to make the stop. We are in Boulder on a perfect day for football. Joe Davis, Brock Heward, Bruce Feldman, and Dean Blandino, our rules expert. Teams traded critical penalties on this opening drive, including a personal foul on Nebraska to keep it alive. And now 4th and short, and first-year head coach Mel Tucker decides to go.
Play to your strengths. He makes these decisions the day before the game. He knew he was going to go for it before he was ever in this situation.
Chenault comes in motion, takes the fake. It's Mangum, the true freshman, for a Colorado first down. 71st meeting in a series that dates back to 1898. These teams met for more than a half century every single season as members of the same conference. They met again last year. 33-28 win for Colorado and Lincoln, and now today they meet in Boulder for the first time in a decade.
You and I grew up watching this game on Black Friday. In the rain and the elements, the end of the season, and the Big 8 and the Big 12. And as evidenced by this stadium today, Big Red travels, and they want a piece of the Buffaloes after the loss in their building a year ago.
From the 44-yard line, play action on first down, a flag down, and Montez down as Carlos Davis gets the sack. Preliminary indication is a hold. Head referee today, John O'Neill.
Holding, offense number 58. That penalties decline, second down.
This is one of the big improvements for Nebraska defensively, what they can do up front.
Oh, and they're all fifth-year seniors and guys that have played a ton of ball. And Cooch a week ago, the left guard against Colorado State, no sacks allowed. A very different picture for him today. Lost off the snap, was expecting protection help. Didn't get it. Nebraska with the big negative play.
You saw the numbers there in their win last week against South Alabama. Very encouraging start for Nebraska defensively. Forced 5 turnovers, had 4 sacks. Second down and long. Montez will dump it down. There's the first catch of the season for Dimitri Stanley. A gain of 5 with a stop from Will Honus.
These are the downs and distances you do not want to be in if you're Steven Montez. Jay Johnston, first-year coordinator with Mel Tucker, because this is where Nebraska and their staff, Eric Shenander, loves to be aggressive. They've been pretty basic, Joe, here early on in this opening drive. A lot of 4 down, not a whole lot of pressure. But this is where you've got to guard the football. You've got to protect that field position if you're the 5th-year senior Montez.
From midfield, 3rd down 17. Montez into the short side. There's Brady Russell. And it'll be 4th down and about 8 as Eric Lee Jr. makes another tackle.
4th and 1, easy decision. 4th and 8, Colorado took the ball at home to begin this game for a reason. Because their offense is their strength. They're going to have to score some points today. And I think at 4th and 8, this is the right call. A veteran punter, you've got to pin this Nebraska offense back. An offense that struggled a week ago in the opener.
J.D. Spielman at both ends of the spectrum in the opener and punt returns. Took one back 76 yards for a touchdown, but he also fumbled one. Alex Kinney, veteran punter, sends away a good one and a fair catch back at the 3. Taking a break with our Progressive Insurance game countdown. Nebraska and Colorado. Nebraska forces a punt, and their offense will have it for the first time when you come back. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. Back at Folsom Field. Nebraska to begin its first possession from its own 4. Maurice Washington swings out of the backfield, gets the corner, and bumped out of bounds near the marker. So Adrian Martinez, Brock, didn't play great last week, set such a high bar last season. Huge expectations coming in for him this year, and Scott Frost said very determined this week in practice.
Well, the whole group was not on the details from the snap, really. 15 missed snaps, played a big role in really discombobulating the offense.
Back-to-back touches for Washington. He crosses the 20 with a gain of 6.
And there was no Washington in that first half a week ago as well. And just for Adrian, it was his eyes, it was his poise. And 295 yards a game, freshman records, one of the best marks any freshman in college football has ever done in total yards, and just not himself a week ago. I expect him to be aggressive, and I'd expect him to run it a whole lot more than he did last week.
Empty set on 2nd and short. Martinez looks short side as Reed was taken away, so he will run for the first time into space and a first down crossing the 30. You know, as much as he shouldered, because that's what you quarterbacks do, it all started up front with their freshman center Cameron Jurgens. Snaps were an issue all day.
Yeah, he's a converted high school tight end linebacker, tremendous athlete. They believe he's going to be one of the greats, but he's learning on the job, learning to try to snap, and it was uncomfortable. And watch Wan'Dale Robinson, number 1, running back, wide receiver. The freshman will be everywhere.
He's the man in motion here on first down from the 33. It is Washington with a short gain and 2nd and 8. How about this Colorado defense? A lot of inexperience, and they gave up over 500 yards last week, able to overcome it with 4 takeaways.
Yeah, Johnson, one of the rarities coming back with experience. He's got to be a difference maker. Most violent player up front. Landman's a hammer, the leading tackler. And on the back end, Abrams, the corner, is really going to be responsible for covering a lot of space.
Martinez all day. He'll heave one with broken coverage. J.D. Spielman takes advantage, makes a man miss, and a Nebraska touchdown. A 65-yard strike with blown coverage on the back end.
What was the fear of Colorado and their defensive staff? The amount of time for Adrian Martinez to create. You saw the run earlier. Well, this is the pass, and this is the burden that the safety Onu, the transfer from SMU, is going to find himself in. The vertical game, and he's putting a bind, a 2-on-1. And you know what? If that's a 2.5 second in the ball out, he's in position. But that time, unfortunately, it looked like Maddox not in position to cover for 4, 5, 6 seconds, and the ball gets behind him. Those safeties are going to be burdened if they get protection like that.
There's an answer to one of the questions. Who will handle the place kicking duties? First one, Isaac Armstrong, who is their punter normally. Hasn't kicked since he was in high school.
Nebraska, 120-yard explosive play all game last week, and they get it on the opening touchdown drive.
Fox College Football is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today. Joe Davis, Brock Heward, Bruce Feldman back here in Boulder, Colorado.
I think you see why the Buffs took the ball, right? The strength is going to be their offensive group. Going to be challenged here defensively and trying to prevent the big play. It was really the theme around here. Have a lot of eyes on Adrian, prevent the big play, but so much time, and there you see the poise. And you knew Martinez would bounce back from a rough one a week ago. No better feeling for a quarterback than to see a receiver that open 50 yards down the field.
Over the head of K.D. Nixon. Steven Montez and the Buffs offense will have the ball again when you come back. 7-0 Nebraska in the early going in Boulder. Nebraska and Colorado first met in 1898. 60 years as members of the Big 7 and the Big 8 and the Big 12 together. They met every year from 1948 through 2010. And we're doing things with this home and home these last couple of years. From the 25-yard line, second Colorado possession, and Colin Miller is all over Steven Montez for a loss of 5.
So fast. And that's just what jumped off the screen to me, the second level of this defense. And you'll see 5, 6 different Cornhuskers play. And Montez, we saw earlier on a third down run, get to the edge of that defense. But, man, Miller can run. Barry can run. You can see Doman play an awful lot today in this matchup. All of those guys cat quick at the second level.
Montez to throw on second down. Underneath, there's Laviska Shenault, his first touch of the day. Breaks 2 tackles and gets close to a first down. Tyron Ferguson bumps him out.
I was fortunate to call this matchup a year ago, Joe, in Lincoln, and Shenault just a career day. And much like the previous staff, they know when they've got a weapon to get the ball to him in as many different ways today, and he is such a beast when he catches it. I think that's when he's most dangerous, after the catch.
They'll throw it on 3rd and 2 over the top for K.D. Nixon, and an interesting play call. Although, is this play going to count?
Prior prior to the snap. The previous play is under further review.
All right. So they're going to get a mulligan on that.
Now that's a break. And that's got to be where Chenault steps out of bounds. I think you see some of the mindset of the Buffs, and I think it's the right mindset. And Mel Tucker, he comes out of a pretty strong coaching tree and one that's prepared for every moment. Says he makes many decisions, and let's see, that foot is probably the one they're evaluating.
Right there.
Hard to differentiate there. But Mel Tucker, was telling us yesterday, so much of the decisions he needs to make in this game, he visualizes. And I think when you've worked for Saban and Kirby and a bunch of really talented guys, Jim Tressel, through the years, you do plan ahead. And the decision clearly coming into this game by taking the ball, number one. Number two, a 4th and 1 going forward around midfield on the opening drive. And there you see 3rd and 2. We're not playing for field goals today. You're going to have to score some points against the offense you're facing.
First head coaching job for Mel Tucker after 20 years as an assistant. The last 3 of those at Georgia as the defensive coordinator.
A lot of poise. It's fun sitting down with these coaches that have been lifers as assistants. And I know he had an interim head job, but this is his shot. This is what he's been waiting for, to really make the most of the right fit, the right opportunity. And to see them in that position, in a new position, and to just sit and hear his poise and the direction. And how many times do we hear about physicality? An SEC physicality. It's why on Tuesday and Wednesday during the season, they'll go 11-on-11 team run. Everyone knows it's run. There's no apologizing. But really wants to create that physical mindset here in Boulder.
After further review, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7 at the 28-yard line. Please adjust the game clock to 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
And if you're Colorado, you're almost like, okay, I mean, do you want 4th and 2 or 3rd and 7? And we're going to have another shot at 3rd down here.
I think if you're Colorado, you want this crowd noise to dissipate.
Yeah.
And it's why these opening drives are critical. You do not want to be playing from behind, as crazy as that sounds, in your own building. But rarely do you see a building so dominated in these stands by the opposing team.
3rd down and 7 for the Buffs. Nebraska bringing pressure. It's picked up, giving Montez time, and a man leaks open out of the backfield for a 1st down. Alex Fontenot.
Boy, that's really good. I mean, one of the critiques of Montez through the years is a little bit of panic in the pocket, right? The happy feet and just maybe the eyes moving places. That's as poised as you can be on a critical 3rd and 7, something they've worked really hard on this offseason. To the point in drills, not even throwing the ball, but just moving in the pocket, finding the soft space. And that's a big conversion here in the 1st quarter.
8 of his first 9. 1st down from the 38. To the ground they go with Fontenot. Gets spilled by Darian Daniels, and we go down to the field with Bruce Feldman.
Joe, Brock's talking about the split in this crowd. This place is absolutely rocking. Tickets were going for almost $200 a pop yesterday just to get here. I talked to one of the Nebraska coaches who said this might be 70-30. They thought that's how well Nebraska and Big Red would represent. You know what? It's 70-30, but the 70 is actually the red. This is really impressive. This Nebraska fan base has showed up big today.
Well, the name Colorado has Spanish origins, meaning colored red. And it certainly has been today. On 2nd and long, Montez retreating. Now trying to extend the play. Good coverage downfield, and so he makes the wise decision and heaves it out of bounds, 3rd and long.
I think anticipating pressure, just 3 Buffaloes in the pattern. And I'd probably say to Montez there against this team today, you've got to step up. You got to climb up in the pocket. There is just too much team speed, even from the big fellas. And Davis making a mark here early. You saw Daniels with the early penetration on the last down. But if there's an opportunity to climb up in this pocket today, I think that's the move for Montez.
Able to convert a 3rd down earlier on the drive, where he did climb up in the pocket and dump it off. On 3rd and 9, pressure again, in trouble and sacked. Caleb Tanner and Tyron Ferguson make it 4th and long.
Nowhere to go. And what a wonderful mix by Nebraska. This is some fun football to watch. You're going to see man looks, zone looks. And this time, that's what Montez sees. Hip to hip with everybody, including the double team down the field. There's just nowhere to go with the ball.
Already 6 sacks over the first 5 quarters of the season for Nebraska. Second Alex Kinney punt. It's another good one. Spielman with a late fair catch takes it at the 19. 49-yarder from Kinney. Nebraska back to offense after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by Verizon, America's most reliable network. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Let's go down to Bruce Feldman.
As if this rivalry wasn't hot enough, CU's Davion Taylor issued a challenge of sorts this week to Adrian Martinez when he said, if we make him pass, I feel like that's probably one of his weaknesses. I asked Adrian Martinez about those comments yesterday. Felt like he was trying to take the high road, but then he added, he'll see. I hope that's their game plan.
Yeah, you got under his skin by bringing that quote up, Bruce. He is 3 for his first 3 as he finds J.D. Spielman for 6.
You know what else is automatic for Nebraska here in the opener? The snaps. And they weren't a week ago. And that was a big reason why number 2 had such a hard time getting in the rhythm. Cameron Jurgens is on point, the redshirt freshman center.
Another perfect one there. Swing it out to the tight end, Jack Stoll. He gets crunched after a short gain. Jonathan Van Diest combining with Davion Taylor, and it's 3rd and short.
How many different ways can you play this game outside the hash marks? That's the Nebraska game plan. Do enough inside to affect the eyes. You see Jurgens there making the calls, but play this game on the perimeter where there's an enormous speed advantage for the Cornhuskers.
One of those spots where you worry about Martinez as a runner. 3rd and short. He'll take it. Blockers in front. He's able to get through Maddox for a first down.
Great call, Joe. Something we talked about going into today. I asked Scott Frost yesterday over under 10, the number of QB runs. He said that's probably a pretty fair number. And they feel more comfortable in the depth in their QB room, something that's always a concern with a running quarterback. But he wants Adrian to run like an I-back. Feels like he's got the skills and the talent to do it. Didn't do it a week ago.
1st and 10, first carry for Dedrick Mills, who was the ACC Freshman of the Year at Georgia Tech in 2016. Dismissed for violation of athletic department rules. So he transferred to a junior college, spent 2 seasons there, and the #1 JUCO recruit in the country coming to the Huskers. And he is a load. Bringing the faster of the 2 running backs in Maurice Washington in front of 2nd and 7. Facing a 5-man rush, gets rid of it quickly, and plenty of room for Washington, using that speed to get to the corner.
And that's just a coverage bust there for Colorado. Earlier it was a 4-man rush that couldn't get home, but you just can't see this amount of space. A fine line Colorado's running. They've got to bring people in order to affect the pocket. Very different than Nebraska. But just a bust there. Either a defender not dropping into that zone underneath, but you cannot let Washington get started.
Suspended for the first half last week. There are pending charges in a California court. No further suspension or comment until that case is closed, Scott Frost said this week. Davion Taylor brings him down. There's a preliminary hearing set for October 16th.
And that was a big-time play from Taylor, the guy that was talking a little noise about Mr. Martinez, and if you're going to open your mouth, you better deliver. He fights through the blocks. If you're going to contain the perimeter, the safeties, Maddox, Onu, Taylor playing that nickel linebacker have got to be so sound on the edge.
A lot of empty set early on for Nebraska. 2nd down and 10. Quarterback draw. Martinez waits for the blocks to develop and gets submarine. Onu forces the fumble, and NJ Fotto recovers it. What a hit coming up from Onu, the SMU transfer, who in 2 games has forced 3 turnovers.
Who is he, they're asking in Colorado. And in SMU, they're like, he was good. He had 3 picks in 4 years. He got 2 last week. And that's textbook, man. That is putting your shoulder pad. Look at that. Eyes are up. Shoulder pad right on the football. You want to stop the QB run? you get in that alley, and you've got to make plays like that. And that's huge. Turnover number 5 on the season for the Buffs.
Instructional video from the grad transfer out of Sugar Land, Texas.
Settles everybody down. That's what the staff just settles everybody down, and you could see it in the tackle. He doesn't rush it. He doesn't duck his head. He puts that pad right on the football. That's a huge takeaway.
It's it back to Montez in the Buffs offense from the 36-yard line. Here's Fontenot. Markel Dismuke from his safety spot brings him down, second down in the closing seconds of this first quarter.
I'll tell you, that's now the 15th straight game with a turnover. One of the reasons the Cornhuskers couldn't find a win on the road last year is just giving that ball away, and that will be an opportunity for Mel Tucker and his crew. You've got to win that takeaway column.
They did last week. They did last year against Nebraska. 3-0 winning the turnover battle, and 33-28 winning that game in Lincoln. Entertaining first quarter here at Folsom Field. Nebraska and Colorado off and rolling. Back after this on Fox. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. First quarter stats. Dominated, at least in terms of total yardage, by Nebraska, but that one turnover helping level things out for Colorado.
And a couple explosive plays for Nebraska as well. Something missing a week ago. Colorado, you got to continue to do this. You've got to mix and match your run, your pass, put a lot of Montez on his shoulders to help dictate that too.
Second down and 6 to the freshman Jaron Mango. Slips one tackler, then gets drilled by Cam Taylor-Britt in front of this third down. We go to Mike Hill for a game break.
Another Big Ten team, Wisconsin, taking on Central Michigan. And when you mention the Badgers, you usually start with Jonathan Taylor, the Heisman candidate, with his second CD of the game right here. He's already got 6 total this season. Taylor and Wisconsin up 16-zip. This game's still in the first quarter. Joe and Brock.
All right, Mike, Big Ten team on the road here in Nebraska, leading 7-0 against Colorado, opening seconds of this second quarter. On 3rd and 5, against pressure, Montez steps up, pocket collapsing, and down he goes. Already the 3rd sack of the game for Nebraska.
And that's unfortunate because he had Chenault. They created everything in that formation, 3-by-1, run that rub route. Montez got to step up and put that on him. I mean, he's looking there. They do that short motion. He knows what he's getting coverage-wise. You're getting man-to-man, and there you just got to trust yourself. And then ultimately, your best players have to rise to the occasion. You've got to give them that chance today. I think the first time really feeling the impact of this Nebraska rush.
Alex Kinney, one of the stars of the early going in this game. Now 3 very good punts. Spielman will let it bounce over his head. Wow. Down at the 5. A 60-yarder from a guy who broke his collarbone in this matchup last year. There's an 8-year stretch, final 8 years of the Big 8, where this matchup decided the conference championship, more or less, from 1988 through 95. Meeting up again here in Boulder. First time in a decade they've played here, as the freshman Wandale Robinson comes into the backfield and has a first down gain of about 5. True freshman from Frankfort, Kentucky, who is the nation's #1 all-purpose recruit, and all-purpose is a perfect word for the way they want to use it.
A little bit more than a runner in high school, over 117 touchdowns, Gatorade State Player of the Year, and the first from the state of Kentucky to have the opportunity to be a letterman for Nebraska.
He's the motion man on second down. Mo Washington back there next to Martinez. Bubbles around Taylor. And Washington gets a first down.
Yeah, you can keep track this afternoon of those yards between the tackle. That Scott Frost, Troy Walters is offensive coordinator. They will not go away and deviate from it because it continues to open up these edges. And that's Davian Taylor, who can run. And I complimented him earlier on keeping contained, that outside arm free, but it's such an enormous advantage outside the hashes for Nebraska today, speed-wise.
averaging 12 yards per play so far, including that 65-yard touchdown from Martinez to Spielman on their first drive. 1st and 10 from the 18. They go back to the ground. Washington with penetration this time. They try to go between the tackles where there's much less of an advantage.
And that was a really nice play there. Terrence Lang on Farniak, the right tackle. Just a one-on-one, he wins. That's what the run game a week ago looked like against South Alabama. 44 rushes, just 98 yards.
For a team that was top 30 in the country running the football last year. Here's Martinez pulling on the read play. Dives forward, 3rd and short. We're talking about the issues on the ground last week. Just over 2 yards per carry against South Alabama.
Too cute. Way too many formations. You're seeing them a little bit more stagnant today, trying to get a read and a feel for the defense. Got ahead of themselves in the opener a week ago.
Facing 3rd and 2. Straight ahead, Washington. He's got no shot. Akil Jones, who's mostly just played special teams his first couple of seasons, comes up with a big play here.
Yeah, and this is just your right guard, your right tackle. This was some of the challenge a week ago, just not getting to the second level. And Colorado is going to move. Tyson Summers, the D coordinator, knows he can't be stagnant. And when they get an opportunity, whether it's a slant, whether it's a run blitz like that, against a big physical Nebraska offensive line, they want to give them moving targets to hit, not sitting ducks.
First Nebraska punt. Isaac Armstrong with the freshman Dimitri Stanley waiting back. Colorado coming after it, and that is going to be a roughing. Daniel Arias just drills Isaac Armstrong. We've had many key penalties, not just running into the kicker, but still it's going to be enough for a first down.
Yardage results in a first down.
I know you do a wonderful job of keeping score in baseball. You got this fancy program on your iPad. You do so good. You know what this is for me in my stat column? I'm keeping score. That's a giveaway. You're off the field, right? Your offense is getting the ball. It's a turnover defensively. I mean, that's just a mistake, and it's an effort mistake. And you're trying to get after it if you're Mel Tucker, and you know you've got to win the special teams phase. Can't play it neutral, but you're now giving Nebraska the ball back. That's a giveaway.
Again, we talked about it last week. Such a clean game Mel Tucker's team played, but already 3 penalties and a couple of them big.
Welcome to rivalry emotion.
From the 30-yard line. Martinez with a first down pass play. He's got all day and finds Robinson for a first down into Colorado territory on a gain of 25.
And that one to the explosive column. Explosive player, explosive play. And once again, this sets up by the protection. Compare and contrast Montez. Right, he's been hit and harassed on most of his passes. Adrian, plenty of time to step up and into the pocket and deliver.
Quickly in Robinson's hands again. This time Nate Landman flies over to stop him. Colorado's leading tackler. Played a huge game in the win against Nebraska last year.
Again, you just see from a play calling standpoint, see the hands on the hips. Nebraska reads it. They want more and more of that, and thus sideline to sideline, utilizing all 53 yards, because that guy coming downhill is a monster.
Martinez again all day, straight to Spielman for a first down. Boy, and if you give a quarterback that's that talented that much time to just stand there, you are in trouble.
And this is a 4-man rush. This is not a 3-man rush. You're bringing a 4th rusher there into play. But a guy that struggled to get into rhythm a week ago, Adrian, yeah, this is pretty darn simple read right over the ear of the linebacker. And no threat in the pocket.
8 of his first 8, really comfy. Robinson swings out to draw the attention of the defense. They come back the other way with Mills, who runs for 5, and Landman and Blackman stop him.
There's got to be a little part of Adrian. It's just like, okay, really? You want me to throw?
After that quote from
Taylor? I mean, after the quote, but also just watching, I think, schematically here what you're doing. And just saying, if you're not going to get after me, and while the big guys up front may still be finding their footing and their targets in the run game, they're giving me ample time, and you give me that much air to breathe in the pocket. Did it a year ago as a true freshman, and you see it once again doing damage down the field.
Back to Mills on second down. Landman hit him first, and then Follow finished him off.
Well, he's instinctive. Nate Landman, you don't make 100 tackles unless you have just a feel and instinct by formation. Number 53 right in the middle there, reading that offensive line, right? Watching formation, studying the game tape, and what a wonderful fit with Mel Tucker.
Yeah, a guy nicknamed the Hammer. I think Mel Tucker's going to like him. 3rd and 6 for Nebraska, midway through this second quarter. It's a quarterback run, blocker in front. Adrian Martinez sets up 1st and goal with a lead block from Brendan Hymas.
Did you see Adrian clap his hands quickly? He wanted that ball in his hands. Look at the alignment by look here. He knows what's coming. That is an alignment advantage right off the snap for Nebraska. This is where you get your extra numbers. When you've got a QB that runs like an I-back, he wanted that ball in his hands as quickly as it could. And once again, credit to Cameron Jurgens, who's been on point after 15 or so missed snaps a week ago. That exchange has been no issue for the Cornhuskers.
1st and goal for Nebraska. And a flag.
Ball start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Matt Farniuk, the right tackle.
Yeah, that center snap is a really big deal in this system. Nobody wanted to make the excuse, right, and really point it to a kid they love. But getting that right from the onset's been an enormous difference in this first half.
Here comes Mills. He gets upended by Maddox, because when it happens enough, even when the snap is good, it's still in the back of your head as a quarterback.
There's no question. And you've got so much to do in this system as a QB, so much to read in your RPO game, to read down the field with the safeties, and they love him. Scott Frost loves him. Troy Walters love him. They believe he's going to be the next All-American. And you see him down on the field pregame, you see why they love him. A tremendous athlete. And I think wonderful to see him bounce back after a rough week.
Spielman motions across the formation on 2nd and goal. Martinez looking end zone. Now he'll tuck it down, trying to run around the corner. He gets a block from Washington and a touchdown. It was a pass play to the left. It wound up a run play to the right for a Husker touchdown.
And if South Alabama fans happen to be watching this game, they're like, man, I didn't see any of this last week. I didn't see a quarterback this confident, this comfortable. He could have thrown it. He could have thrown it right there to Austin Allen, but he's heard all week what his coach has reinforced. You came here to run the ball. You didn't just come here to throw it. You came here as a winner, as a tough dude, and to run the ball and do damage, and that's exactly what he's done in this first half.
And on a drive that started back inside their own 10-yard line, they go 95 yards and make it 14-0, trying to get off to a 2-0 start, trying to get their first road win under Scott Frost. Fox College Football is presented by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. And is sponsored by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. 14-0 Huskers after a long touchdown drive engineered by Adrian Martinez, who is perfect so far.
Other than the fumble. Yeah, perfect throwing it. Over 205 total yards. And really outside of that fumble, Joe, this game, you could be looking at 21-0. But it was also 14-point deficit a year ago in Lincoln, where Colorado responded. They're going to have to do the same on this drive.
Krista handling the kickoff duties, punches that one through the end zone. Montez in the offense, back out there after this. Time now for our Drive Bigger moment of the game, brought to you by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. Here's Bruce.
Joe, Ben Stilley isn't just one of the Huskers' top defensive linemen. He's also a real leader for Nebraska. His off-field efforts have been reflected by him becoming the recipient of the Sam Foltz Leadership Award, and thanks to all his volunteer work at outreach events, road races, mentoring groups, and local hospitals and schools. When I asked Scott Frost about him, he said, you know, this is a lot of stuff he never talks about. We don't find out about it until you run into somebody who was like, hey, Ben Stille spoke, and he was amazing. And he said, that's what I think I respect him so much and admire that he's, because he does everything for the right reason.
Kid that grew up about 30 minutes from Lincoln, dreaming of playing for the Huskers, takes so much pride in wearing red. And he's out there in first down and 10 for Colorado. It feels like a big drive here for the Buffs, down 14-0.
But it can't be a panic drive.
Montez 8 of 10 so far, 51 yards. Pressure coming from the near side, then they back off. Montez with time, he'll tuck it. He pops and crumbles down after a gain of 5. Stopped by Markel Dismuke.
Fun talking with him yesterday. Confident quarterback, cocky basketball player.
Isn't it crazy?
Said he could play on the CU basketball team without question, and he actually said he still plays so much ball that sometimes his football ball handling, you see it there, he was like trying to jump cut, right crossover. That ball will get away from him. He is one cocky basketball player.
Mike McIntyre, when he was recruiting him, saw him drop 28 points in the first quarter of a basketball game. It included a 360 dunk. 2nd and 5, off play action. He rolls his eyes downfield. He gets intercepted by Lamar Jackson. The senior out of Elk Grove, California, plucks it out of the air and gives it back to the Huskers in Colorado territory.
And what a great play by the boundary corner. Nebraska, one of the defenses that will play a corner either into the boundary or to the field, and he baits him. You can see Lamar's right there. He's baiting him. Watch his eyes. No panic. He sees the whole route develop. He knows what's coming, and he wants Montez to throw that. He wants to stay at a depth that really forces the hand of that quarterback. And when I said don't panic on this drive, that's a panic decision. That's trying to get too much all back in one play, and a senior that makes him pay.
First time Nebraska's had a drive begin outside its own 15-yard line. From the 43, they start with a trick play. Here comes J.D. Spielman. Spielman cuts it upfield and gets 8.
How many plays outside the hash? Just how many different ways can you do it? Keep them honest inside, right? Take the body shots inside between the tackles, but how many different guys between Wandell and Spielman and Martinez can do damage out in the open field, where there is the single biggest mismatch on this field today, and that is the skill speed of Nebraska.
Got a pretty good mismatch here down to the bottom of the screen with a tight end Jack Stoll, who is 6'4", Mekhi Blackman, who is barely 6 foot. Martinez looking in that direction, but it's out of the backfield. Mills lowers the shoulder. First down to the 15 on a gain of 20.
Yeah, you got this sense a week ago when the Colorado State Rams had over 500 yards of offense, and you saw much of this same. Get to the flat, really test Lamb and Van Diest. Probably worth mentioning the Buffaloes without Carson Wells, and that's a huge loss for them defensively. He's out with a concussion. He's an edge player that has a little bit more speed, but once again, you see Nebraska taking advantage of the perimeter.
From the 15-yard line, it's Mills. Tugged down at the line of scrimmage by Taylor.
And this, I think, is what the country felt preseason, with so much of the expectation and anticipation for Nebraska. A top 25 team with just 4 wins a season ago. Back-to-back losing seasons, and yet there was so much, I think because of Adrian, the resume of Scott Frost in year 2 with the program and his winning attitude. This is the kind of football that I think people expected to see a week ago.
And all the reports out of camp were so positive across the board. Washington cuts it upfield. Lamb helps bring him down, and it's 3rd down. Mikhail Onu also up from the secondary.
He's been busy.
Yeah.
Too busy. And that speaks to, I think, some of this defensive line and just some of the challenges that Mel Tucker has year 1, filling some spots with grad transfers and late signees and just trying to patchwork put a front together. Tough matchup today.
And that said, how good has Nebraska's O-line been in both phases, both pass blocking and run blocking? 3rd down and 7. Robinson in motion.
Zone.
Nobody following him across the field. Martinez knows that. Hands it off. Here's Washington trying to get the edge. Not gonna this time. Maddox bumps him out, and it's 4th down.
And remember, some kicking challenges for Nebraska. And there's a good play by Maddox. And some of that secondary speed. But this is, there's some nervous energy, I think, on that sidelines. Not even knowing who the kicker would be yesterday when we sat down with the staff.
It'll be Isaac Armstrong, who we saw attempt a couple of extra points. He is the punter, kicking for the first time since he was a high schooler. That means a new holder as well, because Armstrong normally the holder. Noah Vedral, backup quarterback, a wide snap. Vedral does a nice job to catch it and put it down, and poke through by Armstrong. 26 yards and a 17-0 Husker lead. Fox College Football is sponsored by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Ohio State rolls in Columbus. Heisman hopeful Jonathan Taylor's Badgers meet Central Michigan. But the game of the day, no, the game of the year so far is the double OT affair in Ann Arbor. Joe Brock, see you at the break.
Who saw that coming? Army going into the big house and forcing double OT.
Army a little bit like Nebraska a week ago. I think some expectation coming in. They may be the group of 5 team to come out of it and push. Had a slow start last week and at every opportunity, the missed field goal at the end of regulation, had a 50-yarder to win it and couldn't finish the deal.
William Pristup has done a nice job kicking off today. Another touchback. Adrian Martinez, after a bit of a sluggish week 1, 9 for 9. Nothing sluggish about his start today.
Oh, and nothing looks in that pocket like it did a week ago. So much time and space. That's the explosive play to Spielman. Right out of the gate, 5-6 seconds in the pocket. And here's even a little bit of pressure. He's seen the field. The eyes last week I thought were distracted, and not the case today. And then ultimately you knew he'd run. Number in my book was somewhere around 10. He's upwards of 6 right now and just doing damage with both the arm and the legs as well.
And now Colorado's got to get things going. Getting outgained in this second quarter, 129-0.
There's Chenault.
Delayed game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's bad.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like Adrian last week. That you've swapped in some ways, Montez and Martinez in back-to-back weeks. That just rattled, right? Just shook a little bit. The eyes, in the pocket, getting hit a lot more. Just so much more challenging than it was a week ago for this offense that put 52 on the board in great rhythm.
You asked about LaVisca. Man-to-man coverage to the bottom of the screen, but they hand it off to Fontenot, and he gets popped. Time for a game break. We send you to Mike Hill.
All right, fellas, matchup of the day at Death Valley. Number 12, Texas A&M, and top-ranked Clemson. Heisman candidate Trevor Lawrence. Shaky last week, but much better today. Finding Justin Ross for the 30-yard score. Tigers on top of this one, 7-3. This one, middle of the second quarter. Joe and Brock.
All right, Mike, second down and long. Here is Chenault. He makes Will Honas miss. And danced a little bit too much. Strong legs pushing the tacklers forward. He is a physical freak.
He is just so well put together. And 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 5 white helmets there surrounding him with pursuit at the end of it. And that's about the only way you're going to bring him down. He is so physically strong. I think you asked yesterday, could he have been an SEC running back to Mel Tucker? Right? And I think he could. I mean, at 220 pounds, he is just a difficult player to bring down.
He's in motion on 3rd and 4, closing minutes of this first half. Montez finds him for a first down. Back-to-back receptions for LaVisca Chenault, who is slow getting up. Of course, it was an injury-riddled breakout season last year. He was able to put up those huge numbers despite dealing with a foot injury and a toe injury, and then eventually had to have his shoulder operated on as well.
Missed all of spring. Right, this new staff just really finally got a feel for him in training camp, and you knew he would be a factor on this drive. Have to be.
Leaves the field right there. Outside they go to Tony Brown. And getting some rhythm offensively.
There's that shoulder that was repaired. You can see the brace still on it there. He felt that one.
So Mel Tucker said yesterday, my number one hope is that he can just stay healthy, because he can do such incredible things if he does. Here in game 2, he leaves, injuring that shoulder, it appears. Fontenot on second and short loses a yard. JoJo Doman and Will Honus.
I'll tell you one big difference from Nebraska from a season ago is how many people they're playing defensively. Rolling that front. Linebackers, the down guys, just not going to, fatigue is not going to be an issue. A lot of trust with a lot of players and their personnel up front.
3rd down and 2. Montez delivers a strike on time for a first down. Sometimes those are the throws that aren't good from him. Fading away, throwing to his left.
Watch him finish. It's all about his finish to the left. When he gets in trouble, and he knows it, it's been one of the biggest points of emphasis this offseason. But you saw his shoulders. His dad in El Paso, his coach growing up, loves that throw. That's a respond throw, and this is a respond drive when they need it.
Back-to-back receptions for Tony Brown, and a timeout taken by Nebraska.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout, Nebraska. Their first, a 30-second timeout.
Coming up at halftime, stay tuned. Rob Stone, Reggie Bush, Brady Quinn, Matt Leinart, and Coach Meyer. The State Farm Halftime Show. Talk about the Buckeyes rolling in Columbus against Cincinnati. Some people thought that could be a much more difficult game for them. Not so. 17th ranked Wisconsin hosting Central Michigan, and then 2 overtime thriller at Michigan.
Ohio State simplified their defense. Greg Schiano did a million things, did a lot of them very well. It feels like they've simplified their defense and getting those players to just react and play fast. That was impressive today in Columbus.
Good to see Laviska Shenault quickly back in.
Yeah, he's their most dynamic player, period, on this team, not even close. I'll tell you who I do also want to see is KD Nixon. He's a Blazer. He may be even a step faster than Laviska, the high school teammates. A little quiet start, just 2 receptions last week, been quiet this entire half. He's a guy with Laviska and KD. Those 2 guys are the ones you want to get in space.
KD had a catch that was wiped away by a penalty early on. He's to the top, Shenault to the bottom, 1st and 10. Time for Montez. It's a crossing Shenault, who promptly gets brought down by Honus. And Will Honus has been all over in this first half. Timeout, Colorado.
There's that shallow cross concept, and Honus is all over it. I was crediting Landman earlier of just being instinctive, right? Of just having a feel for what's going on around him. Honus' whole second level is aggressive. Well, frankly, the front has been too. Just Montez really from the jump of this game has been taking contact. Just look at the pocket. Just watch it collapse around him. This is one of the rarities where he actually was able to even escape the pocket, but nothing open down the field. 3 sacks. A crew with just 25 on the entire season last year now has 7 the first 2 weeks. And I think because of that contact led to a really poor decision and a giveaway on that last drive. It was fun to talk to yesterday, though. Son of a coach. Said I didn't have any of these QB gurus. I didn't do the 7-on-7 around the country. It was my dad and me in the backyard or in the park across the street really working. What you gonna do, Macho Man, brother? What you gonna do, Montez, when this Nebraska Cornhusker rush comes after you?
It has been relentlessly so far today. 2nd and 9, 4-man rush. He's retreating. He's being chased by Davis and has to throw it away. Third and 9.
And more fresh Nebraska Cornhusker rushers coming into the game. This is how you win on the road. 0-5 a year ago. This is how you find ways to win on the road. You do not get worn down. You play a lot of people, especially defensively.
Although if you close your eyes, you could transport yourself out of the road if you're Nebraska. It doesn't quite feel like a road game. Second timeout used by the Huskers.
30-second charge, timeout, Nebraska. Their second.
Coming up next on Fox, number 15 Penn State hosting Buffalo. And then tonight on FS1, it is Cal and Washington. Jacob Eason in his Washington debut, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Maybe speaking of a guy like Montez, where it was pretty easy week 1, a lot of open people, very different story week 2. That'll be the case for Eason tonight. He's going to be throwing in a lot tighter windows. Cal, one of the best defenses in the conference. And remember, beat the Huskies down in Berkeley last year 12-10. But you're thinking points right here if you're Montez. Right? You decided to take the ball early, so Nebraska will get it to begin the second half. But this cannot be a frantic decision. This is one still. You got to be smart with the ball and just try to get points before half.
3rd down and 9 from the Nebraska 46.
Love to expand out of these formations.
Given time. Great coverage downfield. Continues to scan a direct traffic and throws high for Chenal. I mean, what a defensive display from Nebraska on the back end there.
And Brady Russell, that was about it. The tight ends accounted 3 over 2 with the 2 receivers to the top of the field. Brady Russell came on an in-cut, the tight end here. Watch him right behind Laviska. He comes into space, but at that point, Montez's eyes are looking for Laviska. Just nowhere to go with the football.
Looks like they're considering going for it here.
And I think you have to. I think you have to consider it. But I think ultimately may run this play clock down and just punt it. You also can't risk giving up points before half, and Nebraska doubling up and getting the ball to begin the second.
I mean, game over.
Yep.
If you fail on downs here. Nebraska were to score again. Let's see what they decide here. They're in the timeout in front of 4th and 9. 1986 we go back to. Bill McCartney, Colorado, that day the highest scoring offense in the country to just 10 points and snapped a 19-year losing streak to their rival. Bill McCartney was really the guy who had the gumption to say that it was a rivalry because, boy, they hadn't won enough for it to be. Look at the first line on that story, Brock.
Yes.
Hell froze over.
That's how much Nebraska dominated that series for so many years. You know, we were talking about growing up, you're the son of a coach as well, as am I, and Fridays after Thanksgiving you watch this game. And dudes had a lot bigger shoulder pads. A lot bigger.
Way bigger.
And the elements were a whole lot different in November than they are on a beautiful day today.
They're going to punt it. Bigger shoulder pads and shorter jerseys. Into the end zone and a touchback. Well, people affected by Hurricane Dorian need help now. You can support those impacted by texting Dorian to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Hurricane Dorian Relief.
You felt it. I felt it on the highway Thursday. There were a lot of RVs and a lot of red and a lot of Nebraska flags out the window coming into town here. Saw it at the coffee shop this morning. Big Red travels. And they were anxious to get back here after a decade.
Driving up the ticket price, too. The average ticket price on StubHub this week was close to $300, which makes it the most expensive sporting ticket in the state of Colorado this year. The 3rd highest ticket, period, behind a Rolling Stones concert and an Elton John concert. They've turned it into a home game, the Huskers have, and they lead 17-0 as we go to the break and we get you to Rob Stone in Los Angeles for the State Farm halftime show. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. First half stats brought to you by Geico. 0 rushing yards for Colorado. Thorough dominance for Nebraska and a 17-0 Husker lead as we get you ready for the second half. Welcome you back inside, Joe Davis and Brock Heward. And I mean, really in every phase of the game, it was all Nebraska first 30 minutes.
Yeah, you kind of felt that meeting with Scott Frost yesterday. They were confident in this matchup, could take advantage of some of their speed and explosiveness that was so missing a week ago against South Alabama. This was the opening drive of the game, and look at the amount of time Adrian had to really take advantage of that secondary down the field. Spielman on the other end of it, just an enormous explosive play right out the gate, something they didn't get going a week ago. Adrian distributing everywhere. Mo Washington with yet another explosive play. 225 yards for Adrian, total offense in the first half. And the defense just as successful and suffocating. That entire front seven wreaking havoc on Montez. 3 sacks already in that first half. And then continuing what they did a week ago, and that's taking the ball away. I thought the one decision of Montez in the first half really trying to do too much. And Lamar Jackson makes him pay.
And so the first 6 quarters of the season for Nebraska, they've got 7 sacks and 6 takeaways. And in terms of offense, they've already almost matched their total from last week. Adrian Martinez has been perfect through the air. They'll get it to open this second half, what feels like a must-stop possession for Colorado's defense if they're going to have a shot. Let's go down to Bruce.
Joe, I just talked to Mel Tucker and I said, what do you do with Adrian Martinez? He's really going off. He said, you know what? We just got to contain, be more mindful, especially on third down of the runs. We got to really settle down. I said, well, how do you get Laviska going? He said, listen, Laviska's hungry. He wants the ball, and there's a lot of stuff we feel like we can take advantage of based on some looks we saw from them in the first half.
All right, Bruce. Chenault, 4 catches for 24 yards in the first half. And it's not like Montez was bad. The one interception in there, 13 of 18, but not a whole lot of chunk plays.
I think like any quarterback, he needs the help of the rest of the supporting cast in a run game. And there was no balance in that first half. And if you become one-dimensional against the speed and a bunch of the veteran players in the front seven in Nebraska, that's not going to be an efficient afternoon for you.
Nebraska already using a timeout here. They weren't even close to ready to snap the ball, and play clock had already run out, so Scott Frost uses one. We mentioned it during the first half. Didn't win a road game last year. They've lost 14 of their last 16 road games going back to the Mike Riley era.
Now, a bunch of those were close, especially in the second half of last year. Right, just 1-5 in one possession games a year ago. Felt like it just as a team and a true freshman quarterback, so much to learn, so much experience that had to be gained. Not many games out on the road last year where it felt like this, where you really dominated every phase of the game in the first 30 minutes.
Out of an empty set, which we saw quite a bit over the first half. Martinez with a run to the 29-yard line. He ran it for 45 yards in that first half, led the way. You told us off at the top you figured he'd more aggressive running the ball.
And that already his 7th rush of the game, but paying off what Bruce heard from Mel. Watch the edges, right? Just trying to contain, not rushing behind him. Keep him between the tackles.
Washington trying to get to the edge. He hops back and gets stopped by Aaron Maddox. 3rd and 1.
Not very loud.
Haven't had much to cheer about. On 3rd and 1, they'll sneak it. Just the 3rd play under center under Scott Frost, outside of plays to run the clock out.
Smart play too. Mr. Farniak, the right tackle, getting right behind Adrian Peterson with the push there to ensure the first down coming right out. And Scott Frost, Troy Walters, like a lot of folks script their opening plays, also make their adjustments at halftime. And not a ton to make. 4 drives in that opening half, 3 scores, the 1 fumble, and up and down this field.
Behind an offensive line that was dominant in the first half. And they give Martinez all kinds of time again. A little bit out of the reach of Washington.
That was his first miss. And here's a little adjustment from Colorado. They've been bringing a 4th defender. It hasn't really impacted anyway. So this time they just rushed 3. They drop 8 into coverage. And a near miss there. The only misfire of the afternoon for Martinez.
Yeah, literally the only incompletion. He starts the day 9 for 10, 2nd and 10. Robinson motions across the formation and joins him in the backfield. He's got it. Hemmed in. There's a flag down. Good job by Mekhi Blackman not to let the speedster get outside. Nate Landman there to help him. It's a hold on Nebraska.
Holding. Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's right guard. Going to be right here coming into the screen just as that ball breaks containment. Excuse me, the tight ends. And once again, those hands just get outside the frame for Jack Stoll, the tight end. Questionable there of whether or not you wanted 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, or 2nd and 20. With as challenged as you've been defensively today, got to make that penalty pay off on this down and distance.
And again, as we talked about coming out of the break, Nebraska's had no problem getting big plays. Mustafa Johnson can't bring Martinez down. He's got room to run. And instead of 3rd and 8, it'll be 3rd and about 6.
And once again, Tyson Summers, the defensive coordinator for Mel Tucker, you saw him a bit earlier, rushes 3. Says we're not getting home anyway with 4, so you might as well have an extra defender, some more eyes trying to contain Martinez. And you could see, I think, even some frustration there. You drop 8 into coverage, you play zone, you really do not expect a 15-yard run.
Opening drive of the second half for Nebraska. 3rd down and 6. Colorado's showing pressure. They bring 4 and get home. Ball in the air. It is a fumble that Martinez gets back on top of. Mekhi Blackman on a corner blitz comes in and makes it a mess.
Page out of Nebraska's playbook with some secondary pressure. Blackman coming right off the edge. And Adrian just doesn't sense it. He hadn't been hitting that pocket anyway all day, but he gets it really from both ends here. A look he was anticipating, the coverage dropping out, it doesn't. And unfortunately for Colorado, a ball that bounced right back into Martinez's hands.
But they get the stop that they had to have. And now look to set up a return for K.D. Nixon. That is a good punt. Angled it out of bounds, keep it away from Nixon. Isaac Armstrong getting the job done. So Colorado back to offense, down 17-0 here in the 71st meeting between the Huskers and the Buffs. Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. By Wendy's, proud partner of the NCAA. College football is back, and so are spicy nuggets. And by Hyundai. One of the great traditions in college football, the Ralphie Runout here at Folsom Field. Colorado's first drive of the second half. Got to get something going. What kind of changes did they make coming out of the break?
Nebraska has been so fast flow. You have got to change the pocket, move the pocket, reverses, get on the perimeter.
Alex Fontenot makes a nice cut and gets 6.
Some misdirection, right? You just got to get those Nebraska eyes in the front going one way and making it pay the other. And that a very positive run for a crew. Thanks to 3 sacks from Nebraska, had a big fat 0, not just on the scoreboard. You don't see it much, also in the rushing column after 30 minutes.
For a Nebraska run defense that has been an issue. They're 124th nationally 2 years ago. They were 107th last year, but so much bigger, as you've touched on, so much better depth up front. Shut the run game down in the first half. Here's a jet sweep to Dimitri Stanley. Gets a nice block from Nixon and a first down. Able to get to the edge with some speed from the freshman.
And that's it. You've got to get out there. And then maybe a jet sweep with a little reverse off of it. You've just got to do it against a fast flow crew. And this Nebraska defense, through a game and a half, playing as fast as anybody, you got to misdirect them.
Montez against pressure, throws behind Nixon. Well, a couple guys out there open with pressure coming from that side, unable to hook up. Quick trigger to Nixon.
Yeah, he's a guy. I mean, Laviska's the obvious, but KD is right behind him. I mean, those have got to be 1-2 in touches in the final 30 minutes. If you're going to get back into this game, if you're going to make something against a fast defense happen, those 2 guys from DeSoto, Texas have got to have a say in it.
Nixon had a big cushion and just stepped out of bounds. Looked like he had an opportunity at a first down there, but instead it's 3rd and 4. Here comes Chenault crossing the defense for a first down.
Been more active today than he was even a week ago. And I think they're going to guard a little bit and protect that shoulders. You see now a little tempo from the Buffaloes.
Back to the ground, Jaron Mangum with the hole hard. Good first down gain. 2nd and 4-5.
And good adjustments here from Jay Johnson, the offensive coordinator. Don't just play into the hands of Nebraska. Don't just line up. Don't just be at one tempo. Mel Tucker's been doing this a long time as an assistant, I'm sure. And he told Bruce there's some adjustments that they would make offensively, and I like it. Inside, outside, mixed tempo. Get the ball out of your hand. Do not let that defense that dictated the entire first half keep doing it.
Into Nebraska territory. This time they fake the jet sweep. Handed off to Mangum, who's hit in the backfield by Will Honus, and he loses 2.
He's a good player. We've called Honus' name a bunch. Just 4 games a year ago, a blessing in disguise with an injury, able to keep a year of eligibility with that rule, the redshirt rule. Between he and Barry and Miller and Doman, those guys can run. Great blitzers.
3rd and 6 for Montez and the Buffs. Yeah, movement up front, false start will make it 3rd and even longer.
That was the center. You know, there's something sneaky there.
Snap infraction. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Yeah, you see Tim Lynott. This is 79, Darian Daniels, that got away with one, the nose tackle. You're going to watch him flinch. You see him flinch first? That's a captain at Oklahoma State. That's now a captain in Nebraska. That is a savvy 5th-year move. It may have even been a little cadence or a little something there to get the 5th-year senior Lynott to flinch. That's a big 5 yards and a veteran move he got away with.
Savvy but illegal.
Yes.
If it gets caught. 3rd down and 11. Montez for Nixon, who bounces off initial contact, slips another, and turns nothing into something, although they say that he stepped out back at the 49, so it's just a gain of 4.
Look at the difference in getting away with that little trick right at the line of scrimmage. Be 4th and 1. Instead, I think this is the move you have to make. Clearly out of bounds. Now, if you're Nebraska, I think you also have to beware here. Is there a fake? Is there a look that Colorado likes in this phase of the game? Otherwise, pin them deep.
Kenny had a monster first half punting. This one not as good. Favorable bounce for him, though, down inside the 15, and Nebraska will start at the 11.
I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. Brought me a new shovel. Put this in the dirt. Shame with the new bezel.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Domino's. Order online and track your order. Back in Boulder, all Nebraska so far in this one, 17-0. And the Huskers back on offense midway through this 3rd quarter.
Not surprised to see them respond. A week ago, just 2 offensive touchdowns. Been so much more explosive and efficient in this matchup today.
Dedrick Mills on first down. Not a lot of room, but he keeps the legs turning and turns it into something.
And one of the real characters and one of my favorites in college football right there. And Bruce wrote a great article about Mario Verduzco, the QB coach that was just hurt. He was offended by the play. He took it personally responsible of the play with Adrian a week ago. That was not what any of them anticipated. He's one of the real good quarterback coaches in America.
Martinez keeps and throws a little bit too tall for Robinson. Let's go to the Mario Verduzco expert of experts, Bruce Feldman.
I thank you guys for the kind words about that. After I did this story, Mario got back to me and he said, you know, my wish for this piece is to help establish the mission that I established a long time ago when I began this madness. He goes, it was to create a new perspective on this so we as coaches coach the QB position rooted in science free of myth, superstition, and of gurus.
Love it. Make sure you check it out on The Athletic from Bruce Feldman. 3rd and 5 for Nebraska. Martinez throws incomplete. Davion Taylor broke on the ball, intended for Jack Stoll, and that is a 3-and-out.
And remember, it was Mr. Taylor that had the comment that said we'd be at our best defensively if Adrian's in the pocket, trying to read the defense and throw. Everybody covered down the field. In the first half, this was QB run. But Adrian took that ball and did not try to force it in. He does not see Davion there. Nearly an interception, a great play and breakup, and a huge 3-and-out. But first half, that meant Adrian run. And I bet that's what Mr. Verduzco may get in his ear on the sidelines and remind him.
First 3-and-out of the game for Nebraska's offense. There's a flag down as Nixon watches his sail out of bounds. So it looks like this will be on Nebraska.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the kick. First down.
Colorado's defense doing its best to keep the Buffs in the game. They force a 3-and-out. Davion Taylor with a pass breakup on 3rd down, and the O has it after this. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. 17-0 Nebraska.
Good tanning deck up there.
Yeah.
Good football viewing deck, and probably hoping for some points on the board for Colorado. 52 a week ago. You can see just tremendous balance. And again, Colorado State is nowhere near the athleticism and the fierceness that this Nebraska defense rolls with. But if you got to play between the 40s, an explosive play, a shot play, now it's time to call it and protect it.
They start from the 48. They fake it to Stanley. They'll dump it to Fontenot. And the white shirts rally around him. Able to get forward for a few. Time for a game break. Here's Sam Farber.
Some SEC elites feasting in week 2. Second-ranked Crimson Tide. Tua Tagovailoa already has thrown for 3 scores. Legs working as well. 25-yard touchdown run. It's 38-0 Alabama at halftime over New Mexico State. Meanwhile, in Athens, DeAndre Swift striking for his 2nd touchdown. 1 of 5 Georgia scored in the second half, 42-7.
All right, Sam, 2nd down for Colorado. Back to the ground, and Fontenot, a short gain. Stopped by Khalil Davis, 3rd down. Couple conservative plays to open this drive.
Yeah, they just play so hard. I know I have said that at least a half dozen times. But when you rotate the big men as they do up front, I mean, watch the number of tacklers, the number of that white, it's the white paint that's going to end up on those gold helmets with the tremendous pursuit that you have seen all afternoon. A big reason why you've got that right now on the scoreboard. Oh, and by the way, the noise for the road team.
On 3rd down and 5, Montez out of a collapsing pocket, throws a diving catch. What a play by Dimitri Stanley.
Wow. Oh, you better get up to the ball quickly.
Not in time. Didn't snap it in time. This is going to go under review.
It's a completed catch. That ruling is under further review.
Jojo Doman broke on the ball. Stanley says it's a catch. Officials initially said it was. What do you think?
What tremendous concentration. All hands. Ball can hit the ground. Does he possess it? Does he control it the entire way?
Dean Blandino, our rules expert in Los Angeles. Hello, Dean. What do you see?
Yeah, I think Brock said it. The ball can touch the ground, but does it come loose when it touches the ground? If he maintains control all the way throughout that process, we still have a catch. This is close. Ball clearly touches the ground, but he's got his right hand on it. I just don't see enough to change the call on the field of a completed catch. It's very close.
So, Dean, you do see the ball move, right? The hands touch it, and then it moves while it also hits the ground. And then you're right, the body shields away from the next movement.
And what they may say is the ball hit the ground and the receiver used the ground to make the catch. And so if they rule that way, then they're going to overturn it. It's close. And again, you can't use the
After
ground
further review,
to make the catch.
The receiver did not retain possession of the ball throughout the process of the catch. As a result, it is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
And if I'm the one paid the big bucks to make that call in the replay booth, that's the call I make. I think there was just too much movement early. Did a wonderful job doing all he can, Stanley, to come back to the ball. But when the ball hit his hands, it then moves, and I think he gains control of it with it hitting the ground. I think that's the right call.
Do you think going for it on 4th and 5 is the right call too? Because they're gonna.
Yes, I think you could also use a little cadence here. An aggressive team that has already tried their own tricks. We saw that with Darian Daniels earlier, the veteran nose tackle that got away with one. So you have some tools at your disposal here. You can also control cadence-wise.
And in a day where you've done nothing offensively, running out of opportunities in terms of possessions, with 6 minutes left in the 3rd. Down 3 scores. The first home game under Mel Tucker.
I make this move as well. You've got to force the issue here offensively.
Put Montez under center. Going with a hard count, no movement up front. Do they now signal in a play? Under 10 to snap it. Nebraska's not budging.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So they take the delay, and the punt team will, in fact, come out.
That big number 79. I want to make sure that story is told about him. His brother, little brother, I don't know if he's so little, Damian, the backup nose tackle behind him, played at Oklahoma State, graduated, came here, and was honored as a captain. That is hard to do in this program with all the walk-ons and all the tradition and all it means. And you're going to come in our doors as a grad transfer, and you're going to get nominated captain. That speaks to the presence he has on this ball club.
Boy, Nebraska came after it. Kenny able to get rid of it, and Spielman with a fair catch at the 15. Yeah, after months in Lincoln, one of the guys they look up to as they try to get to 2-0 in control in this one. '71st meeting between Nebraska and Colorado, and Nebraska with a 17-0 lead. Colorado's defense has forced back-to-back punts, but the offense unable to do anything with it. And so the Huskers from the 15 with Adrian Martinez back to throw, getting his first completion of this second half. Nate Lehman stops Mo Washington.
I would love to see one of those players from the 80s or 90s, their shoulder pads. Like if Adrian wore those shoulder pads.
Huge. You wouldn't want to tackle him.
Everything now is, well, just like these suits we wear, right? Everything is smaller and tighter. All these uniforms have gotten so much, the padding so much more efficient. Those guys were monsters back in the day.
Suns out, guns out now. It used to be suns out, guts out. They'd expose those six-packs with the short shirts. Martinez trying to get around Changum, who shows good speed to keep up with him. Yeah, limit the gain. It'll be 3rd down.
That's pretty good for Mel Tucker's crew here defensively. Right, it was up and down the field for Nebraska, doing whatever they wanted to do in that first half. And it's been a nice adjustment. These edges have been better with containment. You see quickly Adrian running out of room on the sidelines. And yet another monster 3rd down to try to force back-to-back 3-and-outs and at least give your offense a chance.
Lost 2 on the play, 3rd and 7. Martinez under pressure, and he was in trouble, but it was a timeout before the snap taken by Nebraska.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout Nebraska.
1 left. One of the great matchups in this rivalry's long history back in 1994. Tom Osborne's team Third in the country at that point. The Buffs were number 2. And the Huskers took the drama out of this thing, scoring 4 of the first 6 possessions. There's some of those big shoulder pads and neck rolls and short jerseys. 24/7, Nebraska rolled. My gosh, a bunch of monsters.
Bunch of NFL dudes on that field as well, including Cordell and the hard AstroTurf.
Oh.
I guarantee you some of those guys still have turf burn scars from playing on that stuff. I know I do, because I took a beating on this field in 1998 as well, and I mean a beating. Excuse me, not here on this field, but Nebraska's field, that I still vividly remember. Those guys in the 90s. Look out.
Out of the timeout, 3rd and 7. Martinez flushed. He gets sacked. Alex Changum. Mustafa Johnson there as well. And how about this Buffs defense in this second half?
You talk about containment, right, and the adjustment that they were going to make. You're going to see a line stunt come here, and because of that, just concentration on keeping Adrian within the pocket right there. That is a tremendous play.
And the first-year DC Tyson Summers came over with Mel Tucker.
That was Mustafa Johnson keeping containment, something they could not do in that first half. Tyson celebrating some really strong adjustments here in the second half.
K.D. Nixon will watch this one bounce, and Colorado ready to go back on offense at the 35. Champ against champ. Errol the Truth Spence Jr. takes on Showtime Sean Porter in a welterweight world championship unification bout at the Staples Center. And champion Anthony Durrell defends his title Saturday, September 28th, live on pay-per-view. The guy there on the left, Spence, would have looked good in the 1990s uniforms.
I got this fun little counter on my telly. I think I could count 10. Not a 6-pack. That is a 10-pack.
Yeah. It's illegal now to have the app showing if you have the jersey tucked in.
I think Chenault probably's got a few of those as well. And it's time for your stars to go. I mean, you got 19 minutes of action. That is it. And they've tried to get him touches, and credit the Nebraska team speed defensively. Another penalty.
Illegal substitution. Offense, 12 players in formation. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's inexcusable.
Killer.
Well, Laviska Shenault, a year after he had 10 catches, 177 yards against Nebraska, 5 catches, just 31 yards.
Lots of it's underneath, right? Shallow crosses. They tried the rub routes. There's just been nothing vertically, partly because of protection and also because of an excellent coverage on the back end of this defense.
Defended by Boodle here to the bottom of the screen. They run away. Jaron Mangum stopped by Colin Miller. Converted defensive end out of Fishers, Indiana. Eric Shenander, the defensive coordinator, late last season said, look, a couple things. We need help inside. Don't have much depth there, and you are probably not going to be an outside linebacker defensive end at the next level. And so Miller was all in making that switch. And in his first year as a starter now. Second down and long. Montez throws. He's got Nixon, who's got space and tripped up crossing midfield. That close to breaking a huge one. He'll settle for 22.
Yeah, KD could easily, comfortably put the other uniform on the other side and fit so well in what they do. Playing just in space, making 1, 2, 3 guys miss. That's what you're going to have to do today. Right, Laviska, KD, the rest of them got to understand with the amount of pursuit that you're seeing, it's not just good enough to break one tackle. You've got to make multiple people miss.
Trick play coming here. They get it in Nixon's hands. Montez delivers a block. Not a good enough one, and a loss of 3 as Ben Stille stayed home.
And if you want to draw up a Nebraska player, he also looks like he played in the 80s or 90s. Put a neck roll on him and a little bigger pads. He's 6'5", he's 295. He's a self-made man. He was our leading sacker last year as well with 5.5. But that is textbook. You want to play containment? You want to let your buddies help you out? Yeah, you got to dominate a quarterback, but you can't do it better than he just did.
Second down. There's Russell, the tight end, dragging the defender for a Colorado first down. The ball comes out. Nebraska's on it, but was it out before Russell was marked down? It appears that.
Yes. Yeah, that ball is definitely out. Does Nebraska get control of it as they're fighting underneath? I don't think there's any doubt. Look at the 6-inch punch right here. It's going to come in and just punch that ball out.
But Colorado actually recovered it. Markel Dismuke punched it out of there. Somehow Russell was able to fight it away from Sullivan.
Look at that short punch.
They work on that first thing in practice every day. Staple of Eric Shenander's defenses through the years. First down and 10 at the Nebraska 36. Montez back to throw, looking long, heaving towards the end zone. Tony Brown can't pull it in. Had his hands on it over Lamar Jackson, but couldn't hang on, and it's 2nd and 10.
That's the one-on-one vertical shot you wanted. Right, you've been searching for these today. Ample time as this offense has been on the field a little bit more in the second half. Tremendous coverage by Lamar. The ball goes up into the sunshine. And Tony does everything right. Absolutely everything right, but unable to finish that touchdown. Great throw. Give your receiver a chance. Tony knows he's got to come down with that ball.
On 2nd down, it's a sweep play right side with room for a first down. That is the seldom used Jalen Jackson. His first touch of the day goes for 13, and he got a great block from K.D. Nixon.
I like that you're getting away from the chaos. You're not winning inside. Right? You can't win between the tackles. Get out to the perimeter, but a good adjustment in the second half.
Swing it out to Mangum, makes a man miss. Jaron Mangum downhill to the 10.
I like the tempo, right back to the football for Montez and crew.
Markel Dismuke has gone down injured on the far side of the field. Stopping the tempo. Well, Dismuke is a guy, and like a lot of these guys in the secondary, Brock, that Scott Frost would tell you they were a lot of them in the doghouse early on last year. Not only have they gone from being in the doghouse to out of it, but they've turned into a strength for the defense. Frost says that Dismuke at this point doing absolutely everything right.
And when you get that swing, you make even more significant impact. There are a lot of guys who are out that ultimately left the program, and you can hear the folks here in Boulder feeling the tempo, feeling the pace, not necessarily buying that. I think Dismuke lost, got the wind knocked out of him there as he was diving for that attempt and that tackle. But when Scott Frost gets guys, and I think any new coach that comes in, I think it's okay for those guys to question. Right? We've seen that in some of the games that we've covered this year, right? Some of the change and some of the new faces come in. And PJ Fleck in Minnesota, are you going to buy in? I don't know if I'm going to buy in. I got to see it, I got to feel it. But when I do, I can be a significant changer of the program, and that's certainly what the guys in the secondary have become.
Hustle up to the line of scrimmage, into the short side. Mangum made the first man miss. Stayed on his feet for the touchdown. The freshman out of Detroit gets the Buffs on the board late in the third.
Running through the arms, the true freshman did, of the redshirt senior captain, Muhammad Berry. One of the rare occasions in the run game where that Colorado who wants to be physical, who wants to run downhill, who does that team period under Mel Tucker every Tuesday and Wednesday, full pads, full go, breaking tackles, making plays, and bringing the stadium to life on the Colorado side.
Extra point from James Stefano. Makes it a 17-7 game.
Mangum, the bigger back, the true freshman. Here's Berry, the senior captain. And on one of the real rare occasions today, right, a little bit of a block. I think that throws Berry just getting to the second level. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right, just enough of a body there for Russell. Just enough of a body for Lynott. Just get a piece of these guys so your running backs have the opportunity to square it up and run with some force.
So 1 week after they score 52, they finally get on the board here late in the third quarter. But the credit belongs to the defense, which has delivered 3 stops in as many drives in this third quarter.
No question about that. And good field position as well to begin those drives. And just, you felt for the first time, right? We've talked about this. And, you know, making adjustments here in the second half. That Nebraska so dictated the pace, dictated the physicality in that first half, that you needed those jet sweeps. You needed the movement. You needed to change the tempo. Good adjustment from the Buffaloes on their end.
Stefano to kick it. Dangerous. Wandale Robinson waits back for Nebraska. And a good kick, skillfully done, keeping it away from Robinson as we go back to that last drive from Colorado. Finally able to get some rhythm offensively.
And a mix of personnel, right? Just spreading the ball out on the boundary. KD breaking 1, 2, 3 tackles there. Kind of set the tone for that drive of what you had to do. That jet sweep action. The Cornhuskers so downhill in that first half. Get out on the edges. Take your check down. Believe in the people around you to make somebody miss. And Mangum did it both on that swing route and then running through tackles himself. The Cass Tech true freshman out of Michigan, making the Buffaloes believe a little bit in their home building.
Well, one of the first times they've been able to get up this crowd. From Colorado's perspective, Martinez off play action. He'll dump it off. Flying out of there to break it up is Taylor. It's an incomplete pass off of the hands of Mills. You mentioned this kid can really run. Shot out of a cannon right there.
And he's the one a little bit and just said, hey, we want to make Adrian a passer. We feel like that gives us an opportunity. And you know what you've not seen from Adrian in the second half? A lot of run. A real priority in that first half. Gone away from it here in the second half.
And he was 9 of 9 through the air in the first half. He's 1 of 5 in the second. On 2nd and 10, a look to throw it again. To the short side, Robinson. That is going to be a face mask.
And that was a killer. Oh, is that a killer? And you can see Blackman there shaking his head. He talked about himself watching the tape.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 25. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
He said this week in the papers that, boy, he wasn't good enough tackling in the open field, and that's just an effort, right? I mean, there's nothing flagrant about that. He's trying to do all he can to bring down the very dangerous true freshman Robinson on the other side, and unfortunately, instead of grabbing cloth, those hands reach for the obvious face mask.
8th penalty today. They had 4 week 1. Moves it up to the 48.
QB run look.
Very light box. 5 blockers on 4 defenders in the box. They look to throw. Resets his feet in a Patrick Mahomes type throw, finding J.D. Spielman for a first down.
That's a Mario Verduzco throw right there. You know, there's some drills that are proprietary to the QB coach. Doesn't share with anybody, but that, I guarantee you, is one of them. To throw off rhythm. To throw off platform. Yes, Mahomes has made it very popular at the next level. I watched Mackenzie Milton at UCF make those throws for Scott Frost and Mario, and Adrian doing the exact same thing. That's impressive.
Under center here to run a jet sweep for Robinson. John Van Diest brings him down. There's a flag down. And it looks like some extracurriculars at the end of the play. About 8 yards downfield, right in the middle.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist. Offense number 56. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, second down.
Goes on Bo Wilson.
I was watching Dean Blandino's video he sent to all of us on some of these low blocks. Iowa had a play a week ago, and it's a fairly convoluted rule, but basically, in essence, you get outside the tackle box and downfield, that's a no-no.
And if the ball gets outside the tackle box,
that's
which on that sweep play it was.
Exactly right. You have an area where that's legal, that kind of combat. You can go at legs, but not when the ball is outside the tackle box.
Penalties have played a pretty big story in this game. First down and long, some room, but it closed quickly for Dedrick Mills, and Nate Lamon got his 10th tackle of the day to bring this third quarter to a close. A late touchdown from Colorado here in the third, making things interesting as we move to the fourth in the 71st meeting between Nebraska and Colorado. Fourth quarter coming up on Fox.
Was looking there, but not yet pulled the trigger. And credit there to one of the players we highlighted in the open, Abrams, the big long corner outside. You can see Martinez wants to go. Another line stunt. Well executed there and keeping enough contained to force Martinez to throw it away. But you flank him out there for a reason. Eventually, you've got to give a big target an opportunity to win a one-on-one ball.
Third down, 16. Martinez hits the crosser. Spielman, who can't hang on, with the coverage from Chris Miller. And the punt team will come out.
It's going to be one that Adrian's going to look at. I think he has a chance to, his tight end. Pretty good protection. You've seen it, Colorado through line stunts at least affect Adrian a little bit. Certainly much more than he did in that first half. An opportunity to fit one into the tight end. Adrian decides not to, protects the football. The drop forces the punt.
The dangerous Nixon waits back. Hasn't had an opportunity today because Isaac Armstrong's been really good with his placement. Fair catch. Bounces at the 5. And Armstrong's fantastic day continues, pinning Colorado down at the 4. Early on fourth quarter, 2-score game in Boulder. Fox College Football is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. By Coca-Cola. Share a Coke this football season. And by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage. Looked like Nebraska was going to run away with it. They led 17-0 at halftime. They had the ball to open the second half. Colorado's defense has sparked a turnaround in this game. It's 17-7, and the Buffs have it again with 14:36 left.
And the guys in white charging their fans who have traveled here so very well to make some noise with the Buffaloes backed up.
Steven Montez, 7 of 10 in this second half. Good balance, distributing the ball all over the place. They're going to open with a trick play. They've got Nixon behind the D. He's going to go. The game changes in the blink of an eye. A 96-yard flea flicker from Steven Montez to K.D. Nixon. And now James Stefano for the extra point. And it's a 3-point game on the longest play from scrimmage in Colorado history.
Two things to watch, Joe. When you run a flea flicker, you've got to have tremendous patience. You're going to see the safety Dismute come all the way in. You're going to see Dixon have enough patience. Right, you've got to sell this just a little bit. Sell it just a little bit. And by doing so, look at the green grass and Montez. You got somebody that open. What you cannot do is overthrow it. Just let your playmakers have a chance. I think we just talked about this in the third quarter. Chenault and KD, two best offensive players you have, and they finally got a vertical opportunity.
Colorado had less than 200 yards all day, and then 96 on one trick play. And how about the guts by Jay Johnson and Mel Tucker to go for it there, backed into their own end.
How about the guts of that redshirt senior who's been up against it at times, who's heard a lot of the home crowd at times. The guts of the kid out of El Paso to just throw a dime. And it was 14 points they overcame in Lincoln a year ago. It was 17 Zippo with no life. But it's Montez, it's Chenault, it's Dixon. It's an offense that has responded in the second half.
Game break, here's Sam Farber.
Yeah, Joe, I don't know if I can beat that play, but number one Clemson in control against Texas A&M. Lynn J. Dixon from 4 yards out makes it a 24-0 run for the defending national champs. Clemson up 24-3 at the break before the fourth quarter.
All right, Sam, and I mean, we've talked about it. It has been a predominantly red crowd today, and they've had the most to cheer about. But the Colorado faithful come to life in a three-point game. Washington, a block, hits the sideline, stays on his feet, uses his speed. Goodbye! Mo Washington strikes right back. 75-yard lightning strike. That is otherworldly speed.
I love college football, man. I really do. These athletes in space, in the amount of speed, but watch his buddies. Look at the blocks out in front of Washington. Not one, not two, but all three Cornhuskers helping your buddy out so he can explode on the scene.
And an explosion in this game, 14 points in the span of 27 seconds. Nebraska back up by 2 scores. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. Having any fun yet?
Yes.
Wow.
Speed, man. There is no substitute for it. Mel Tucker is going to continue to recruit more of it to Boulder. Scott Frost, in a very short time, has done his part between Washington and Robinson. That's where the game is today. Get your playmakers the ball in space.
And LaVisca Chenault back there to return, implored to take a knee by Smith. The last couple plays, wow.
Well, Mel Tucker has been aggressive from play one of this game, and you could not execute that flea flicker better. Between the patience, the timing, the throw, the finish line for Dixon to come home and make this game 17-14, and then the response on the other side. And this was about a team effort. Noah, Noah, the grad transfer from Cal, has not had a target, has not had a touch, has not been in the stat sheet. He doesn't care. I get a chance to make the block, to break containment, and allow Mo Washington to house call it. I'll do whatever it takes.
And Nebraska had 50 yards total the previous 4 drives. They got 75 on that one play. Colorado back at it. Fontenot makes a nice cut and gets 5 on first down. Colin Miller with a stop.
All 3 timeouts. Nebraska's got 1. Plenty of time. Stick to the plan. Some of the adjustments you made in the second half. Mixing tempo, inside, outside, jet sweeps, stretching the field horizontally and vertically to get a defense that was so downhill in the first half. Get them on their heels a little bit in the second frame.
Fake to Fontenot. Montez will dump it to him. What a catch. And then spins his way for close to a first down through the arms of Mohamed Berry. He's got enough. Back-to-back very good plays for the first-year starter.
Big time. Montez, I think, was expecting him to just sit down on that route right in front of Barry. He doesn't, makes an incredible adjustment.
First down from the 36. It's time they motion Fontenot out. Opening space for a quarterback draw, but the defensive line fighting off blocks. And Khalil Davis bringing him down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and the big old bouncy grizzly bear in there, 79 as well. I mean, this D-line, the starting front, goes 970 pounds between the three. Daniels had such a beat on that as well. Very difficult to fool the fifth-year captain.
Second down 10. Montez steps up. Broken coverage. There goes another big play. Jalen Jackson inside the 10, first and goal. 57 yards.
Now this is again on the safeties. This is just a breakdown. You can see the second line of defense readjusting the route, passing it off to the safety. And that's just a miss in communication. That time Taylor Britt there on the back end of it. Excuse me, Eric Lee trying to chase it down. He's playing for the injured Williams. That's a bust.
Mangum, gaping hole, touchdown Colorado. Back to within a score. What a roller coaster ride here in Boulder in the fourth quarter. It's like you took your Red Bull and dumped it out all over this game over the last 5 minutes. I mean, it was kind of sleepwalking through the middle part of the game. My goodness, have things turned up or what? 3-point game with 12:19 left.
Explosive play after explosive play after explosive play, and whatever you can do, I can do better. And then I credited the Nebraska blockers on the perimeter. Look at the Buffaloes, to a man, helping their buddy out to put 6 more on the board.
Three touchdowns over the last 7 plays in this game. 246 yards in those 7 plays.
The senior saying to the true freshman, welcome to college football, welcome to rivalry. Isn't this fun?
Man. I mean, Colorado State, a big rivalry as well, but that atmosphere in Denver, hard to compare it to what we've seen today. Mel Tucker's first home game. 20 years as an assistant. He's been all over the place. I mean, we mentioned that Nick Saban is the first guy to hire him at Michigan State those first couple of years. He said when he pulled up to practice and he heard the whistles blowing, he knew that it was the profession for him. And he's gone not just Saban, but Jim Tressel, Romeo Crennel, Jack Del Rio. Of course, back with Saban, and then the last few years at Georgia.
And the poise that I felt yesterday in sitting down and meeting with him is exactly what his team has exhibited today. Down 17, left for dead, and nope, going to keep battling and fighting all the way through.
Mills motions out. Martinez whips it into traffic. A short gain on first down. For more on Tucker, here's Bruce.
Joe, to follow up on what Brock just said about poise, that was the thing that really jumped out at me when I talked to him right before the start of the third quarter. He was so positive and really just seemed like, you know what, he rattled off a bunch of things they need to do, but was very calm. He's like, we just need to settle down. There's a lot of stuff here we can take advantage of. And pretty much everything he said right before the third quarter seems to have happened.
And a defensive-minded guy, of course. While the offense has stolen the show the last few minutes, it was his defense that turned the game around. On second down, Martinez to Stoll, who gets drilled by Taylor. And it's 3rd and long for Nebraska.
Well, you've called his name a half dozen times today, and he's one of the guys that can handle the speed on the perimeter. He's a 10-500 meter. Came to football late in life, but he's a guy that in that space outside the hash marks as they've gone to more of this big nickel defense, they call it penny, he's been the factor.
Washington comes in on 3rd and 8. Two to snap it. They just barely get it off. Martinez in trouble. The ball is out. Colorado He's got it. Mustafa Johnson jarred it out of there. And NJ Follow came up with it. Hey, Lamon's in the student section.
Remember that pocket in the first half? 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds just sitting back there. Been a very different story. College football's leading attacker of the quarterback's pressure. Last year with 50, it was that guy, Johnson, with 8.5 sacks too. And that time the biggest play yet in this game that's gone back and forth and back and forth. And just a different set of urgency from that Buffalo defense here in the second half.
10:50 left to go. Second fumble recovery today, by the way, for NJ Follow.
And watch Chenault here to the top of your screen in that bunch.
Here comes Mangum. Into the teeth of the defense, shut down by Ben Stilley. Second and long.
Get in that look. All right, Jay Johnson's up in the booth, and a nice play by Stilley, the offensive coordinator. You get in that look because you want to see what Nebraska's going to do defensively. I promise you in the next 10 minutes and 30 seconds, you're going to see that formation. And based on the look that they just got, you are going to see a shot, something to a playmaker down the field. That is a setup, a play for the final 10 minutes.
Second and 9. They boot him this time. Turns his shoulders. In trouble. Montez heaves one out of bounds. Able to keep it alive long enough to spoil it. 3rd and 9.
You know what young quarterbacks don't do? That. Montez, his first year as a starter, I don't think he makes that play. I think it goes the other way. Instead, he knows the clock's run out, got pressure, cannot afford a negative play here. Let's play another day, throw it away, and make this one count.
Well within Stefano's field goal range. 3rd down and 9 for Montez and the Buffs.
Here's that formation again.
With Chenault, the lone receiver, to the top. Now Stanley joins him. Here comes pressure. Montez hits Stanley. One-handed grab. 1st down and goal.
My goodness, is there some embarrassment of riches of playmakers in this second half? Give your guy a chance. As a quarterback, it's what you want to do in these big moments. Just give your guy a chance. And if they come through with a spectacular catch, all the better.
1st down and goal. Here comes Mangum. That play gets shut down immediately. Alex Davis, the man they call Ace, breaking through to drop Mangum for a loss.
He splits the tight ends there. You see Brady Russell give him a little tap right there on the helmet. Probably, that's me. Just got beat. In a one-on-one situation, Davis the better man in that matchup.
So 2nd and goal at the 10. Not an easy area to call plays. They're going to move Montez out. First look at the Wildcat. Laviska Chenault ready to take it. Here he comes, left side. Laviska cuts it upfield into the arms of Will Honas. He continues to fight. Down to the 2, where it's 3rd and goal.
Grown man strength. The guy that credits the trampoline in the backyard for giving him the immense leg strength. We've seen this today, carrying Cornhuskers.
Spotted at the 3. 3rd down and goal for Colorado. Midway through this 4th quarter. They put it in Montez's hands to the end zone. It's broken up by Lamar Jackson. Intended receiver Tony Brown. And here comes the field goal team with a chance to tie.
Now, a lot of credit to Montez in the second half of giving his guys a chance. That time, throws too flat. And the 5th-year senior Lamar Jackson can sense it and feel it the entire way. That's a ball that's either got to be thrown all the way to the boundary or up in the air. And I think Montez knows it.
So a relative chip shot here for the 32-year-old place kicker out of Australia, James Stefano. Out of the hole to the punter, Kinney. From down down 17-0 to a tie game in the fourth. Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. Before NFL games kick off tomorrow on Fox, download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play Super 6 NFL Sunday for free for a chance to win $250,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money. What a great deal. What a great game here in Boulder. Tied at 24. Nebraska led 17-0 coming out of the break and had the ball to begin the second half. Wandale Robinson back to return this kick. Placement of these kicks has been spot on today from Stefano.
Winning tight games, part of our conversation with Scott Frost yesterday, and something that Nebraska did not do a year ago. 0-5 on the road, 1-5 in games decided by 7 points or less. Point blank, I said, Scott, how do you take that step? How do you find a way to close out these games that you put yourself in position to win a year ago? And he said, we got to be a smarter team in the fourth quarter. Well, a couple blown coverages. Not so smart. An offense that was stagnant to begin the second half that allowed Colorado to find some confidence and some rhythm. He's now got himself a game going to go down more than likely to the final possession.
From the 25-yard line, they start off with Mo Washington trying to get some room, but not a whole lot there. Most of the offense in this second half came on one play. Came on Mo Washington, 75-yard swing pass out of the backfield.
Got Davion Taylor, Mustafa Johnson, Colorado corners. Nebraska not very efficient in the passing game in the second half. All big reasons why this thing's locked up.
Pressure coming on second down. It's picked up, giving him time. Off hands and incomplete. Looking for the freshman Robinson.
Can't throw it any better, and that is a true freshman in an environment he's never been in. He'll come across the screen, he'll cross the face, and that's a beautiful throw. That's Adrian's best throw of this second half, right on the numbers. But you see the eyes of the true freshman not lock it in.
And Martinez, who was 9 for 9 in the first half, 5 of 11 in the second, 5 of 12 in the second. On 3rd and 7. Given time again. He'll take off. And Martinez with a stiff arm, a first down and more. That had gone away for most of the second half. It was a big part of the game early on, and here it produces 17.
Surprisingly disappeared. This is who you are. You're an I-back playing quarterback when you need to be. And there's the protection. Nobody getting home. No effective line stunt. And there's a little stiff arm as well. This is game time. This is winning time. This is when you've got to do whatever it takes. And for Adrian, he's got to trust that running ability.
From the 45, back to the ground, Washington. Room off the right side. Galloping his way into the secondary. Making a cut down to the 14. 31 yards from Maurice Washington. 1st and 10 for Nebraska.
I don't know. I'm having these flashbacks to the 80s and 90s right now of just all the star power in the difference makers. And you saw it with Adrian running. Here's Washington, and this is so dangerous. 100-yard receiving game a year ago, 100-yard rushing game as a true freshman a season ago. And a guy that's going to be doing that for a long time in Lincoln.
145 yards for the sophomore. From the 15-yard line. They've got Mills in the game at running back now. He's got it. Crunched at the 10. Nate Landman. That's why they call him the Hammer. Wow. Why don't we just listen to this one? A little help there from John Van Diest. So 2nd down and 5, and it bears repeating that Nebraska's kicker situation is not a good one. Got their punter handling the place kicking duties today. 2nd and 5, a bubble screen, incomplete.
Tight. A tight throw. Not many of them from the kid that's a captain as a sophomore. He's looking at his hands a little bit. Maybe the ball was a little slick, didn't get a great grip, but you got to secure that. That's a play that Scott Frost, you got to get into your playmaker's hands.
That is Armstrong, normally the punter. He's been the kicker today. 1 for 1. Could the game be on his shoulders? 6:21 left.
Got to keep the play alive here if you're Adrian Martinez. It's what you do best.
Washington motions out. It's a quarterback draw. Martinez lunging. We'll see where they spot it. It is going to be very close. Is it 1st and goal or is it 4th and inches? 1st down and goal for the Huskers.
That was all want to right there. That's why Scott Frost says, I will ride with this kid. Good job. Right at the point of attack. You see a helmet on a helmet. And kind of like LaVisca on the other side, pushing the pile forward.
That ruling is under further review.
Ooh, that left forearm, that is going to be the key. The knee's off the ground. Where does that left forearm go down in relation to where the ball is at that point?
And the spot right now, they have him right on the 5-yard line, and he needed every bit of that for it to be a 1st down. I don't know if he quite got there.
I don't think he
at
does.
least to the 5. Maybe it's still enough based on a measurement, but I don't know if he got as far as they gave him on the initial spot.
That's why you'll often see guys put their hand down, right? And it's so hard. I mean, we're watching that frame by frame as he's got guys at his legs as he's lunging. But you'll see oftentimes running backs hand plant, put that hand down to reach the ball out a little bit further. And you make a great point, Joe. When you ask a head coach the night before, hey, who's your kicker? We know Pickering is out with a leg injury of some sort, your normal kicker. And he says, well, good question.
Hopefully it doesn't come down to him.
I'll talk to you tomorrow about that after warm-ups.
And so they tried a few guys during warm-ups. The walk-on from last week, Dylan Jorgensen. Armstrong, who they've eventually gone with. They even tried a guy who was a safety at Air Force, transferred over, former kicker.
I think they're going to set this back and may remeasure this.
So we've not gotten the official word yet, but they have moved the ball already, which is interesting.
And I think that is, hey, where's the clock at? Where is everything? There's a lot of mechanics kind of in play to finalize.
After further review, the runner was short of the line to gain. As a result, it'll be 4th down with a half-yard to go at the 5.5-yard line.
And a decision here where you have to bake in the fact that you don't trust your kicker.
Saw the QB sneak earlier. Right, we saw the push. You believe in those guys in the middle of your line. It was Farniak, the right tackle, who comes behind Martinez to push him even further. You played that earlier in a short yardage situation. This call you make, man. You believe in your people around you. Go for it on the road.
They're going to go out of the gun. 4th down, less than 1. Martinez straight ahead. 1st down, charging forward. Touchdown, Nebraska. And with 5:49 left to go, the Huskers jump back in front.
And there's a big old left guard, Trent Hickson, who's going to pull right in front of Martinez here and pave the way in just no penetration. That's all you're thinking in that moment. No penetration, no penetration. Get your pads down and finish. You see Jack Stoll, the big tight end. He's also got a one-on-one block right at the point of attack. That's all I want to. That is more than likely a quarterback that told head coach, put the ball in my hands.
Extra point from Armstrong is good, and it's 31-24 Huskers with 5:49 to go.
Give me the ball. And the whole key there is early penetration. It always scares me when you get into the gun, and these teams that are shotgun teams, because you'll see early penetration. That would have been the only way to blow that play up. You let Martinez get started with his strength and his want-to, he's going to find the end zone, a lot like that head coach did in this rivalry game.
2-0 is a player against Colorado as the quarterback at Nebraska. And his team has a 31-24 lead. The first real sustained drive of the second half for his offense.
I think sometimes that kicking situation can also clearly define those decisions.
Sure.
And those are hard decisions. Why these guys get paid what they get paid to make those decisions. You're going to get killed and crushed if it's not successful. But I think when you've got a back up to a backup kicker in the game, that defined that process for you. And you believe in your quarterback, too.
Right, it's both, right? You undefined kicking situation and a Heisman candidate at quarterback. Laviska Shenault has his hands on it. And Laviska Shenault into the second level of the defense. Shenault has it stripped from behind. Cam Taylor-Britt knocked it away. Who wants it at the bottom of that pile? There is a flag down as well. Who's got it? Nebraska or Colorado? Who knows what's going on down there?
You don't want to know.
Buff signaling they've got it. Nebraska not conceding anything yet. Continue to peel away the layers of the onion. Still no signal. Nebraska football. Forced by Cam Taylor-Britt.
After the play was over.
And recovered by Luke Reimer.
Interference. Running into a Nebraska coach. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It was the takeaway a week ago. This Taylor-Britt kid's making his mark. A sack, a fumble, a pick a week ago, and never giving up on the play. Joe, I had a coach who loved to preach, whoever plays the hardest, longest wins. And he would say it over and over. Tom Moore in Indianapolis, whoever plays the hardest, the longest wins. And Cam Taylor-Britt, you played hard. You didn't quit. And with Laviska in a position, he's not their main kick returner, and that ball is out and exposed just a little bit. And Britt, fundamental, as you said earlier, something they work on every single day. And why they force so many, and Reimer at the bottom of the pile, walk on, getting it done.
5:35 to go. Colorado has all three timeouts. And Nebraska's got it back at its own 28. Play action on first down. Martinez will throw it away. Time for a game break. Here's Sam Farber.
Joe, your game's a tough act to follow, but number 15 Penn State and quarterback Sean Clifford are going to give it a go against 1-0 Buffalo. Head coach James Franklin looking for another big day from wide receiver KJ Hanker. He had 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards last week against Idaho. Back to Joe and Brock in Boulder.
And they have added an intentional grounding here, Sam and Brock. He was arguing his case that he was outside the tackle box to no avail.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Where is he when he throws this? A double move here and trying to get them, not a flea flicker, but trying to get that defense and that secondary anticipating them biting. They don't bite on Spielman, and that's the right call. And unfortunately there for quarterback, that was nobody else in the route that he could just dump that ball to and throw it away. Big penalty.
Making it 2nd and 17. Washington. Landman is there along with Terrence Lang, then John Van Diest. 3rd down and long.
And that was probably a too cute of a first down call. Scott Frost's words, did too much a week ago. Probably a little bit too cute in that situation.
Especially considering the previous drive, they go 75-something yards all on the ground. Penalty set him behind, now 3rd and 15. Quarterback draw. Martinez gets popped and thrown down by Landman. So, despite the turnover on the kickoff return, a 3-and-out pitch by the Colorado defense.
Not fooling that guy. He's going to sniff it out as he has many times today. And I'll tell you what else that first down call did. Is stop the clock. Kind of a boom or bust play, a lot of risk. I'm sure Scott Frost is going to say, hey, we're going for it, man. We're trying to finish that game and go up 2 scores. But credit Colorado with an enormous 3-and-out after the giveaway.
Armstrong has been very good punting today. Hasn't given Nixon an opportunity to return one. It's another good one. Nixon this time has an opportunity, but quickly cut down. Isaiah Stallbird, another walk-on on special teams with a tackle, and the NFL is finally back. A huge doubleheader to open the season on Fox. Redskins and the Eagles, and then in America's Game of the Week, the Giants and the Cowboys, all tomorrow on Fox or the Fox Sports app.
Did you hear about Antonio Brown?
Yeah. Rich get richer.
He's going to play for Colorado next week, I think.
Not a whole lot doing over the first 3 quarters of this game. It has been a different team offensively here in the 4th.
Husker Nation trying to rise to the occasion in the building. The Buffalo crowd has had plenty to cheer about in this second half as well. What a ball game in Boulder.
Another chapter in this great rivalry. This one turning into a classic. Tony Brown takes it on the sweep, and Khalil Davis brings him down. A loss of a few on the first play of the drive.
You're thinking at 315 pounds, certainly a jet sweep is going to get outside that containment, right? You're too big. You're there to stuff the run inside. Well played.
Wide open underneath KD Nixon to get back a bunch of those yards and then some, setting up a 3rd down and short.
That's called the Laviska Shenault effect. 2 Nebraska defenders staying deep. Plenty of green grass. Smart decision.
And it's Nixon today with the bulk of the receiving yards. 5 catches, 140 now with the attention on Shenault. Back to the Wildcat they go. Shenault ready to take the snap. Oh, what a bad time to have to use one of your 3 timeouts.
Totally agree with you. That had to be a look. You can see Mel Tucker right there. He's having the conversation. He does not want to burn that. With 3 timeouts, something goes haywire. You could still punt the ball with all 3 timeouts. You burn it in that situation before the snap because everybody's not on the same page. That's going to frustrate the Saban disciple.
What do you like on 3rd and 2? You like the Wildcat look?
I do. That becomes a bit one-dimensional and predictable. Right? Unlike Adrian on the other side, that in essence in his short yardage goal line spots is both a Wildcat quarterback and a quarterback. I would like a little window dressing. I'd like to make Nebraska think if I'm not going Wildcat there, and then ultimately I'd remind Montez, hey man, do what you've done in the second half. Get the ball out, get through your progressions, find that completion. No need to panic in the game's biggest moment at this point. And they will go Wildcat.
This time Shenault by himself.
Better not get penetration.
Here he comes straight ahead. He's able to surge for a 1st down. A gain of 4 on 3rd and 2.
His yards after contact. I mean, he's got a few touches, but I mean, it's not falling forward. It's carrying defenders forward. That is a grown man.
Inside the 3-minute mark, Montez will quickly get rid of it to Brady Russell. Stepped out of the 1st tackle. Pushed out of bounds by Boodle. He gets 8, 2nd and short.
That's another missed tackle. No Damian Williams. Remember that, one of the more dynamic players in that secondary. It was Boodle a year ago. They gave up the 40-yard touchdown at about this time, about a minute and a half to go in the game. Here's that tight formation once again. They like to explode or misdirect out of it.
Out of the pistol on 2nd and 2. Montez back to throw. Under pressure, able to step out, directing traffic, and now will throw it away. 3rd and 2 for Colorado with 2:18 left.
Savvy play. We saw it on the last drive, right? 2nd and 9, didn't take a sack, threw it away, converted on 3rd and 9. 3rd and 2, you're on schedule, everything's available to you. Smart play to avoid and get rid of it.
Here comes Fontenot. And it looks like he's short. 4th down, less than a yard, coming up right at midfield.
Gotta go.
Yep. 2:05 and counting. 2 timeouts for the Buffs.
These are the situations that Mel Tucker has said he has prepared for before they've ever happened. These are the moments. This is the situational football. He's been waiting his whole life to be the head man and run a team in charge of it.
They're going to take a look at the spot here. We've already seen one spot moved earlier today.
Advantage Colorado, I think, to give them a little bit of time as well to get to exactly what they want to get to.
Boy, you talk about him preparing his whole life for this, to be a head coach, and doesn't life come at you fast? You got Colorado State week 1, you've got Nebraska week 2, and you've got 4th down and short likely coming up here with a game on the line.
And unlike that shot that we had clear with Adrian where the forearm was down very clearly, you get into that massive humanity, it becomes very difficult to parse out exactly where to mark that football.
Quick review.
After further review, the ruling on the field of the runner short of the line to gain stands. 4th down. The clock will start on the ready for play.
4th down and less than a yard.
It's been LaVisca. Nebraska trusted their best player and put it in his hands in big moments. Colorado in the red zone on the previous short yardage trusted their most dynamic offensive player.
And it won't be Chenault here.
And he's not on the field.
No, not even out there. The running back is Fontenot. They tuck Montez under center. Quarterback sneak. Montez gets the first down. Dismuken there punching at the ball, trying to jar it loose. Montez holds on for dear life. Inside of a minute 30.
Advantage of a 6'5", 230-pound quarterback. Just get those pads down and move the pile. And here we are again, nearly deja vu from a season ago.
Still no Chenault in the field. Montez throwing back shoulder. That is caught by K.D. Nixon. Now Chenault comes in as the clock nears 1 minute.
Beautiful job of getting the hands underneath and securing the catch.
They run the ball, and Mangum has the first down. Flags all over the place with late substitutions from Nebraska.
Scott Frost was running down the sideline trying to get a timeout before the line change. I don't think he's going to get it, and it's his responsibility. It is his job to get in the vision of the line judge, not his.
Illegal substitution. Defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So you may be upset, but it is your job that you have to. That line judge is not looking to you. You have to get in his vision, and I think that's the conversation right there. I'm sorry, Scott, I'm doing my job. I'm looking down the line. If you get into my line of vision, I'll give you the timeout. But he didn't.
Declined the penalty with a first down run for Mangum. First down and 10 at the Nebraska 26. Play action. Montez looking deep towards the end zone. Tony Brown. He got it. Touchdown, Colorado. Did he indeed hang on and get his feet down?
And what a throw. What a throw from the fifth-year senior. Remember, it was Brown earlier on a go route. Feet are in bounds. Does he secure it all the way through contact with the ground? Clearly in bounds. Touchdown. And I love going back to the pro, the guy they call the consummate pro in their building. Remember, he had a go route in the first half, other end zone going the other way, just off his hands. It's not Chenault, it's not Katie, it's the entire team that it is going to take to beat this Nebraska crew in this building. And Montez, the belief in all of his personnel to give Brown the shot, and the senior delivered.
You hold your breath. Extra point coming from Stefano. This game is tied. Tony Brown The Texas Tech transfer goes up and gets it. And with 46 seconds left, all tied at 31.
An offensive coordinator's job is to get his players in one-on-one situations. It's then the player's job to win those. A year ago, it was a game-winning touchdown with a minute to go. Going the same way. And it was Chenault that time that beat Boodle. That time, well, it's Tony Brown on a perfectly thrown ball.
Pretty similar looking throw and catch.
Very similar.
Right, kind of eerie.
It was an inside go route to Chenault, not an outside one-on-one, but that's good on good. That's senior on senior. That's Brown on Jackson, and that's Montez, who buried a disappointing first half. He likes playing Nebraska.
Yeah, one of the best games of his career came in Lincoln last year. Of course, the difference in this play versus Chenault's catch last year is that Chenault's catch won the game, made it 33-28. This one simply evens it at 31. 46 seconds, one timeout for Nebraska. And the dangerous Wandale Robinson back to return the kick. Well, Stefano has been so good today, not giving him any chances to bring it back. None more important than this one. All the way to the back of the end zone. So 46 seconds, one timeout. Adrian Martinez and the Huskers have it at the 25.
Plenty of time with these playmakers today. Every opportunity to make something happen. Spielman, Robinson, Washington, Adrian himself running the football. It is worth noting the kicking game and the kicking situation is problematic. Colorado has Stefano. He's delivered. He's never missed an extra point. Nebraska has no Pickering in the lineup today, but there is no reason that you don't step on the gas right now.
There have been 39 plays in this fourth quarter, 38 points. What a game. What a day of college football on Fox. Spielman the motion man on 1st and 10 at the 25. 7 in coverage for Colorado. Martinez rolling, heaves it to the sideline and caught by Spielman for a gain of 9, 39 seconds.
Couple things to remember here. Nebraska burned a timeout before they even ran one offensive play in the second half. Frost did not get the timeout there that he was looking for in that last possession. I think that ends up being a benefit here because everything's still very much available to you in the playbook.
On second down, Martinez all day down the sideline, incomplete over the head of Noah. First time he's been targeted today. It's 3rd and 1. Washington, first down Huskers.
You better get on that ball. Clock stops while they reset the chains. You better have another play called immediately.
Clock running again. Colorado doesn't look ready defensively. They will use a timeout. So 23 seconds left, and we take a look at the road ahead, sponsored by Coors Light, made to chill, celebrate responsibly. Here's what's coming up for Nebraska. Pretty favorable schedule this year.
Yeah, we got Northwestern a week ago. 6 ranked teams they face in the first 7. Nebraska avoids Michigan and Michigan State and Penn State. Just 3 ranked teams as we sit here today on that schedule. But you're trying to win a road game. You're trying to do something with all of these guys right now, right underneath your watch that hasn't happened. And that's find a way to win on the road. Find a way to win a close game. Find a way to win in a hostile environment that would go a long ways to the rest of this season, both home and away.
Hey, look, I know 17-0 is far from insurmountable, but it felt insurmountable with them having the ball coming out of halftime.
And then they just went away from some of the QB run. Colorado made some timely adjustments, and Mr. Montez's 375-yard day has resonated yet again.
First down, Martinez to throw. He's going to take a shot. He's got one-on-one. There it is, picked off. Intercepted by Chris Miller. He's headed back the other way. seconds left to play, and 1 timeout. And a 32-year-old veteran kicker at their disposal.
Wow. Adrian trying to just throw a jump ball, trying to give Noah the opportunity to win this one-on-one. Mekhi Blackman, a savvy move. Gets his hands on Noah, does not allow Noah to go up for that ball. And does Blackman's knee stay off the ground here? Is he able to have the body control to
that ruling is under further review?
And that is no. Yeah, you saw that in real time, and with all that contact, thought, man, if he's able to keep that knee off the ground, this should be a fairly quick review, which means we will probably more than likely on a doubleheader day go have some fun like they did in Ann Arbor a few hours ago.
I'm all for it. Let's do it. Yeah, this is definitely going to be down back in their own end. As he went again for kind of Noah.
You know what's really impressive, though, Joe? And you can watch coaches and teams and how well coached are they, and it's the little things. After this interception, to watch everybody immediately go into, oh, I'm not just freaking out of the greatest. We got a job to do. And to go hunt people down and to go find receivers to block and go help your buddy out. Been such a theme of these Buffaloes, and for Mel Tucker so quickly building that into his team, his inexperienced team.
After further review, the interceptor's knee was down at the 15-yard line. It'll be Colorado's ball there, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Please put 19 seconds on the game clock.
Do you even consider?
No.
With 19 seconds, no question.
Now, you may run a draw or a screen or something like that, get a little bubble screen, get something to a back, and then if it breaks, okay, you move the chains, but you're it's your own 15.
Yeah.
You are very guarded in what you do here, and they're not doing anything. I play this at home to go to OT.
And Mel Tucker told us yesterday he didn't come into this season saying he wanted to be a riverboat gambler.
Nope.
And heck, when you're down 17-0 coming out of the break, 31-31 with a chance to win it in overtime feels pretty darn good. So we had double overtime, Army and Michigan to start the day on Fox. We've got overtime here in the 71st meeting of Nebraska and Colorado. Overtime is sponsored by TireRack.com. The way tire buying should be. Down to the field for the coin toss.
Still talking to Dedrick? Guys, in overtime, it's a little different. The winner of the toss is going to call offense, defense, or which end of the field we're going to play at, okay? Each team gets 1 timeout per overtime period, okay? Nebraska, you're the visitors. What is your call? That's the heads, that's the tail. Heads. Heads is the call. Yes, it is. It is heads. Nebraska, you've won the toss. You will go on defense. Which end of the field would you like to play offense? Over there. Let's turn that back that way. Turn it back that way, Nebraska. Colorado will put the ball in play, 1st and 10 at the south 25-yard line.
How in the world did we get here? Our Pacific Life game summary. Well, if you happen to flip the TV off around halftime, midway through the 3rd quarter, you missed everything.
Explosion. A flea flicker here could not have been better executed from an offensive standpoint. And I love the guts to just make that call. It's your own 4-yard line. The most explosive play in Buffalo history. Emma Washington says on the very next snap, well, whatever you can do, KD, I can do just as fast and just as explosively. Some back and forth. Mangum, the true freshman, getting a taste of rivalry. Going to get a taste of overtime. Adrian on a 4th and a half a yard. Put the pads down. And as he did a year ago, it was a game winner in Lincoln a year ago. This time it's a game tire. The minutes ago, a beautifully thrown go route.
There's your game summary. What do you like from Colorado here in overtime?
I like what you've done this entire second half. Be aggressive, stretch the field. Don't get away from that jet sweep. And oh, by the way, when the game's on the line, get it to KD, LaVisca, or Tony.
Chenault to the top, Nixon to the near side. At running back, it's Alex Fontenot taking the fake. There is Chenault. A strike from Montez and a first down to the 11. Flags fly in late, very late.
That may be a couple different things. That is a run-pass option. That offensive line fired off in a run game.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You get about a 3-yard window. You break that plane, unfortunately, and this RPO took just a little while. So you get past the 17-yard line. It was the wrong number. That's clearly the right call. You've broken that threshold. You've gone 4.5 yards down the field. There's some gray area, but that was pretty black and white.
There have been some key penalties in this game, and a penalty on the first play of overtime erases a first down completion. So back to the 30. On 1st and 15, it's Fontenot with room off the left side. A block from Chenault. Spinning his way close to the sticks. And Fontenot has a first down. What a run.
Do you remember that first half? That shutout. A big 0 for rushing yards for Colorado. A Nebraska defense that was stifling, that was making every tackle. Barry's on the ground. Lee misses the tackle. Fontenot, yet another huge first down for the Buffs.
This has been part of the run game emerging in the second half, too. The Wildcat was Chenault. From the 12, 1st and 10. Chenault gets drilled. That play blown up from the start by Khalil Davis.
Yeah, an inside slant, an inside charge, and you can see Chenault favoring that arm once again. He get a lot of touches a week ago against the Rams. He's gotten a whole bunch. He's going to be sore tomorrow. And you can see, I love Mel Tucker there, just encouraging his star, knowing there will be ample time to still make a difference.
Second down, 15. Fontenot motions out. Montez looking left side. He'll float one, incomplete with a coverage from Cam Taylor-Britt. He was looking for the freshman Stanley. 3rd and 15.
That was danger. Oof. Danger, danger, throwing late to the flat against that ball hawk, and there's Chenault back on the field. And you knew he would be. He is gutting it out. He's sore. But you've got to be available to your teammates when it matters the most.
He will be here, lined up to the top of the formation on 3rd down and 15. It's DiCaprio Buddha defending him, the man that he beat for the game-winning score last year in Lincoln. Looking in Chenault's direction. End zone! Broken up! This time, a year later, Buddha wins the battle.
Wow.
And it's 4th down.
And call me surprised. He left that guy in a one-on-one situation with the safety not over the top. And this is one-on-one. This is exactly what you just said when you got a year ago. There's some contact. There absolutely is contact. But you know what? That same contact has been allowed all day long. Mekhi Blackman had his hands on the receiver on his interception at the end of the game. They have let these guys play. And what a big pass breakup.
Stefano from 35. Play clock down to 1. They get it off, and Stefano is right down the middle. There is a flag down.
Wow. Scott Frost, be a smart team in the 4th quarter overtime. How are we going to win on the road? Be a smart team. If this is running into the kicker.
There are 2 fouls, both by the defense. Offside, defense. Running into the kicker, defense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And you would assume both decline.
That's the right call. That's not roughing. That's running into. Yes.
Tries the 3-point try successful.
It was 4th and 15. So
both
yeah,
penalties decline.
There's that's a no-brainer. You don't ever take those points off the board.
And here in overtime, Brock, Colorado leads for the first time today. Down 17-0 to take the lead here 34-31. And so the pressure put back on Nebraska and Adrian Martinez.
I mean, he's got to run it at least 3 times here, does he not? Your QB power, your QB draw, you drop back to pass, they're playing zone. I mean, you have got to figure that number 2, who was charged to be aggressive, who Scott Frost wanted and said publicly on Monday, when he runs it, I wanted him to run it like an I-back, just like Scott used to do. You have got to think he's going to call his own number here in overtime at some juncture.
First play of the OT. It's Washington getting spun down by Terrence Lang.
Big time play. And when you're 6'7", that's exactly what you want. You want that length and that mesh point, that decision-making process to be muddled and cloudy, and Lang delivers. Beware of the tight ends as well.
Back to Washington, waiting for a crease, bubbling to the outside, won't find room, and bumped out by Maddox. It's 3rd down and long for Nebraska.
Boy, and that containment on those edges has been so much better in the second half. Dominated in the first half for Scott Frost. But Maddox and Taylor and line stunts have been such a difference. And 3rd and 9 with a really difficult kicking situation.
Isaac Armstrong, who's handling the kicking duties today, was good from about 42 during warm-ups. They're within that range right here. That was warm-ups. This is overtime. On 3rd and 9, a low snap. Martinez recovers. He's sacked. Back at the 33. It's Mustafa Johnson, and it's 4th down and a mile. And they're going to try it with Armstrong.
That low snap took the eyes away for a split second. He's got a curl route that he can't get to, and Mustafa Johnson put a gold star by that man. He has been a force in the second half.
And how about this decision? 2nd career field goal attempt for Isaac Armstrong from 48 yards. Looking for the tie. He hooks it. And Colorado, back from the dead, wins a classic. And Bruce Feldman has the head coach, Mel Tucker.
Coach, you're down by 17. How does your first win at football feel?
It feels great. We got the fans, best fans in the country. Our kids, they never gave up. I can't believe I thought the halftime. We're going to get back in this thing. Let's get. I'm so proud of them. The best fans in the country. No doubt about it.
All you need to do is settle down. Almost everything you predicted at the start of the quarter came true. Why were you so confident in these guys?
Because I know these fools. I know them. Because they do it every day in practice. Okay, they never flinch. They keep coming back. No matter what we throw at them, they just keep coming. So I know they're not going to quit. I know that. Look at these fans. We got a situation here. Who's got it better? Who's got it better than us?
What a scene.
Back to you, John.
Oh my gosh, Bruce, get out of there safely.
Mel Tucker's arrived. He's arrived. You judge your coaches on the adjustments you make. This was a 17-0 game. This was a stadium that was red over the final 30 minutes in overtime. It became a Colorado stadium again, and we talked about the problematic kicking situation for Nebraska, and a sack, making this 50-plus. Those fans behind knew it from the instant it was off the foot. That's a tough spot for a punter to be in. Tough spot for a team to be in, and I can't give that man enough credit. The adjustments he made, the guts he played with, the determination he had, and Coach Frost and crew, are still looking for that first road win.
They knew coming into the day that kicking was an issue. Barrett Pickering sitting back in Lincoln, just hoping and praying that it didn't come down to the leg of whoever they chose. And they went with a punter, Isaac Armstrong, who kicked for the first time since he was in high school.
Mel Tucker, congratulations. What an enormous win to build your program.
And so Colorado moves to 2-0. and Nebraska falls to 1-1, dropping its 8th consecutive road game.
Those one-possession games, this Nebraska team has not learned how to win them. And Mel Tucker so early, look at that. That man waited for his job for decades. He learned under the very best in the business. And I guarantee you Jim Tressel and Nick Saban and the rest of them are watching this game with a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment that his team never quit, that the kids believed. And up against it in this building that was pro-Nebraska for so much, well, it's turned Buffalo Nation in the end.
They take their first lead of the day in overtime on James Stefano's field goal after trailing 17-0 late in the third quarter. 34-31 the final score. We'll get you to State College for the Buffalo-Penn State game. Hey, a high bar has been set, guys, in State College. A couple overtime games already today on Fox. What does the finale have in store?